Welcome to Canberra, welcome to Grandstand AFL, the GWS Giants and the Brisbane Lions as we move into the Saturday twilight here on ABC Sport. Brett Sprigg is my name. Manuka Oval looks magnificent and the opening bounce here is just moments away between two sides that, well, one scraped home last week at Norwood. They had life and death with the Hawks. Harry Himmelberg was the hero at both ends of the ground. They got home by 2 points. The Giants, while the Lions were clinical with Melbourne, and they humbled them by 75 points thanks to those key men up forward, Danaher, Hipwood, Charlie Cameron, and they can affirm their place in the top 8. They are currently 8th with a win here this evening. We'll see how it all plays out over the next 3 hours. Great you can join us via ABC Sport. With me, as always, to call the action on Grandstand AFL is Daniel Garb. Hello, Garby.
Hello, Brett. Lovely to be with you. Lovely to be in the nation's capital. A beautiful Saturday afternoon, not a breath of wind, and you always walk into this ground with a smile on your face because the crowd is always pleasing in the manner in which they love their football and in the number of them that come out for these games. Just a really good turnout as per usual for the Giants, despite them going 7 games in a row winless at this venue. Keen to see what they're all about today, though, GWS, because we know that the Lions are a very likely flag contender. What are the Giants? Are you a top 8 threat or not? They think they are. Adam Kingsley, the hierarchy on field have been bullish that they can challenge for the finals and make the top 8. Well, show us today. Show us just how good you are at a ground that you need to get a better record at. With the support they get here, 7 losses in a row is not good enough.
It's the ground and the opponent as well. As you say, it's a cut above the Brisbane Lions on last week. Hawthorn, who they just scraped home against. Former Swan and Blue, who loves the drive to Canberra. Jason Saddington, nice to see you, Sado.
Thanks, Spriggy. Yeah, I spent a bit of time down here through the Giants Academy work in Canberra. The Territorians, I tell you what, Garby, they do love their footy. They love their footy. And what about the weather? Canberra, turning it on. It's always beautiful down here, isn't it? Lovely warm weather.
21 degrees.
Yep.
Beautiful bright blue skies. What are you expecting from this game today?
Yeah, look, you're spot on. It's a challenge for the Giants to see where they're at. I mean, Brisbane are that premiership contender. What I do love about this game is it's Anzac round. And I reckon it brings out that extra adrenaline and spice in the players early when you go through the pre-game, bits and pieces. It really brings them along. I think the match today, it's around the contested footy for me. Brisbane strong midfield. The Giants, whilst they get Perryman back, Tom Green is a huge loss when we talk about contested footy.
And he is a Canberra local as well. So unfortunate, he had, as you mentioned, the record, Garby, that they haven't won a game, or he hasn't won a game here at Manuka Oval, and he misses out today on his own home deck here at Manuka Oval in Canberra. Welcome to Canberra for those just joining us via the ABC Grandstand AFL Network. Brett Sprigg alongside Daniel Garb and Jason Saddington. The opening bounce here for the Giants and the Lions is just moments away. A recap of the team news, which I've not brought you just yet, is that there was a late change here for the Giants. Ryan Angwin to play his second ever game. He's in for Daniel Lloyd, who has suffered a calf injury. I mentioned Tom Green out suspended. Cooper Hamilton's foot injury. Harry Perryman comes back in for the Giants from his round 1 hamstring injury. Brent Daniels is the other one coming in. Adam Kennedy was omitted from last week's 22, but he will start sub today. The Lions have Jack Gunston in this week for Darcy Ford, who's been omitted, and Jared Lyons, who was the sub last week. He is the sub again this week. The players huddle up. We've had, of course, the moving pre-match Anzac observance ceremony. And Canberra's, of course, defence is a special part of Canberra's industry as well. So extra special here on this bright sunny day in Canberra. We can witness that pre-game. The outer hill is packed. As I say, Garby, it's always a nice atmosphere here for the 3 games the Giants play every year. Sado, give us your final thought. Jason Saddington, your final thought on the game. Who wins and why?
I think Brisbane are going to be hard to beat. I think it's their midfield and their forward line. Like we said, with Tom Green out and the depth that the Brisbane Lions midfield have, they've been strong with contested footy throughout the year. The Giants haven't ranked that high. Take out their best contested player in Tom Green, it's a challenge. And then up forward for Brisbane, Danaher, Hipwood, Cameron, that's a big ask for the Giants' defence, who are still young and inexperienced.
The Lions will kick to the Manuka end to start. That's the right of your radio dials. We hear the familiar siren of the Orange Tsunami which is a new feature at Giants home games. On the boundary for us this afternoon is Adam Shirley. Adam, what's it like down there?
Playing surface is lush yet firm. I mean, it generally looks pretty good, Monaco Oval, but there's no excuse for some good, clean play today. It looks fabulous and not a breath of wind. Sometimes this time of day in Canberra, the wind can push across the wings. That's not happening today, so looking forward to some pretty good goal-scoring action.
Keep your texts coming, by the way, 0437 774 774. The second of our games on Grandstand AFL Saturday. To get us underway at Monaco Oval in Canberra on Grandstand AFL, here is Daniel Garb.
Plenty of great matchups to look out for. Taylor on Danaher. Starcevic has the job on Toby Green. Toby's taken him straight to the goal square to commence proceedings. Perryman standing alongside Zorko. Perryman back in the Giants side after injuring his hamstring in round one. And Josh Kelly, who's had a very good start to the season, up against Lachie Neal, who had 37 disposals on this ground in the Lions win over the Giants last season. A couple of Rolls-Royce midfielders going head-to-head. The ball is bounced. McInerney and Flynn doing the ruck work. Palm down by Flynn to Kelly. Collects it. Quick handball from Cornelio is sharked by Ashcroft to Dunkley. Handball to Zorko in the middle of Monaco Oval. He can drive the Lions to half forward. And watching it closely as he tracks back inside defensive 50 is Sam Taylor. Picking up from where he left off last week with the 9 coaches' votes, he takes the defensive mark.
One of the premier defenders in the competition, Sam Taylor. Here he kicks to the members' side, out to a contest. Ian Coleman comes in from the side and just swats it out over the boundary line for a throw-in.
He has been a ripper, Sam Taylor. We saw that last year winning the Giants BNF, and he's continued on that form this year. Big job, Danaher. Much talked about key forward, but he has been in some nice form, I think.
Back in it comes on the commentary wing. In front, McInerney. On hands and knees, swatted out here to Ward. He's dumped with the tackle, lost the football as well. Got on quickly here by Bailey in his 100th game. Kicks infield again. Coleman tries hard for the Lions. Has the arm pinned down there by Brent Daniels. And the umpire says, holding the ball. The Giants will go forward through Daniels.
Daniels on the Anzac Day logo, or Anzac Appeal Round logo, plays on. Kicks the Giants deep into attack towards the pocket. Hogan's under it, well spoiled by Jack Payne, and the ball goes over the boundary line. It'll be thrown in left forward pocket for the Giants, but very early days, of course. A nice energetic start from GWS.
Yeah, it is. And Brent Daniels, I mean, they missed him last week, even though they still got the win. He's been a really good player for him early in the year.
And no score in the first 90 seconds here in Canberra. Hogan does the right work in front, only as far as Daniel Rich, who can clear for the Lions. Stumps it back to the commentary side. Out the back, Flynn. Hand pass back here is Cumming, works it wide. There was a free kick advantage paid here the way of the Giants. Now Angwin in his second game goes inside forward 50, back in the hole Daniels, but the far more imposing figure of Jack Payne knocks it out of bounds for a throw-in. So stoppage inside 50 again for the Giants at the pool end of Monaco, and still no score. We've played 2.5 minutes.
Imposing is the perfect adjective to use for Jack Payne. He's a very big boy.
He's a big unit, isn't he?
As is Oscar McInerney. He's in the ruck. Jesse Hogan's trying to match it with him. Does well, Hogan, to get to the front. McInerney picks it up, though, inside defensive 50. Just throws it on the boot. Goes out to the wing, and his opposing ruckman, Matt Flynn's in front of Eric Hipwood, and he just palms it down and over the boundary line. So it'll be thrown in just forward of the wing for the Giants. Nice crowd in attendance here in the nation's capital. The lights are on, but the sky is blue, and there's barely a breath of wind.
Back in it comes. Flynn. Out in space. Again worked away by Perryman. By hand to Kelly. Under pressure. Ash gets a hand pass back. Buckley running by. Goes up. Oh, Daniels wants the big sit. In the back of one of the Lions' opponents as Ward brings it away here. Fires on goal from 45, but will come all the way back because that line was Ian Coleman, who copped the knee of Brent Daniels. Said it will be a free kick for the Brisbane Lions at right half back. By the way, no score here, but earlier at Adelaide Oval, the Port Adelaide Power beat the West Coast Eagles by 40 points, and Connor Rosie was the Peter Badcoe medal winner, now a back-to-back winner of that best on ground in the Anzac round for Port Adelaide. We'll bring us some reaction from that game at half-time.
Coleman just guides it up the wing, and Taylor outmarks Danaher again. He's number one in the competition for intercept possession, Sam Taylor. He's got 2 already in the early stages of this game. That's a dangerous kick, but it does find its way to Cornelio. The All-Australian fullback, Sam Taylor.
Just copped the knee in the back there too, Cornelio, from Ashcroft, I think it was. He's up, he's all right.
He's okay, plays on and finds Perryman on the wing. He wanted to go quickly to Whitfield, but that avenue was blocked, so He goes down the centre of Manuka Oval instead, looking for Hogan. He's got front position, punch from behind. Rich is there, gets his kick away under pressure. Big leap by Lockie Neal to relieve pressure for the Lions and now launch an attack through Dunkley.
Nice kick on the 45 to Dunkley. Now comes up the line. Daniher's a long way from home, just sort of halfway on that raking left boot. Gives it a whack inside 50. Out of the contest, 1-on-1. Good work in defence by Buckley. Recovers the ball here in the contest with Gunston. Now shares it again. Gets it back to Cumming. Up the boundary line now. Perryman couldn't keep it alive, so we'll throw it back in right on the junction of 50 at Brisbane's attacking end, right half forward. Still waiting for a score. 4.5 minutes having elapsed here in Canberra. Earlier in Adelaide, Port beat West Coast by 40.
Flynn with front position. Boundary throw in just outside 50. Attacking wise for the Lions. Well done by Flynn to gather the loose ball, throw it on the boot. Bounces in front of Harris Andrews, just behind the wing defensively for Brisbane. Now Kadeem Coleman has some space to get on his left foot and send the Lions into attack. And it's marked down there by Lincoln McCarthy, opposed to Lockie Ash in the bright blue boots. He worked his way to the front, timed his jump superbly, and he's marked 30 metres out directly in front.
There wasn't a lot of pressure on the ball as it came through the middle there for the Lions. Pretty easy time to just steady up, have a look, kick the ball forward. And it was a strong mark up forward. Lockie Ash just beaten 1-on-1.
So he's kicked 36 and 35 goals in his last 2 seasons, Lincoln McCarthy. Only 2 majors for the campaign, though. So down on his usual average. Searching for the first of the afternoon here in Canberra. And he guides it straight through the middle. So the Lions kick the first. They are 1 straight 6. The Giants yet to score. Lincoln McCarthy with the goal. We've gone 6 minutes in the first quarter.
Now, the first 5 minutes, probably the Giants had the majority of the play. Most of it spent in the front half. Lions, I think, only got forward inside 50 once before that entry, which was a Sam Taylor intercept. But second time going inside 50, like I said, not a lot of pressure on the ball through the middle. And that was a nice, strong mark from McCarthy. And I think they'll be looking for that sort of match-up. If Ash is caught on him, you'd go to him because he's pretty good mark overhead, McCarthy.
Voice of former Swan and Blue, Jason Haddington on Grandstand AFL. Plenty of talk about Harry Himmelberg during the week as well. Of course, he was the hero last week at both ends of the ground for the Giants and off contract into this year, Garvey. So clubs are circling. They're talking that he may go cross town to the Swans, but for now, he's obviously just focusing on his footy. Very important player for them. Can they go forward of halfway here? Restart back in the middle. They try to clear through Cornelio. Kick partly smothered. Out to meet the football. Coleman wrapped up by Perryman. Gets the hands free. Back to the big O. McInerney goes inside 50 for the Lions. Out in the 2-on-2. Through the hands of Buckley. Tipped on here by Dunkley. Gunston tries hard for the Lions again. Dunkley swooping through. Hand pass too hot for Charlie Cameron. Recovered here by the Giants. They link up with O'Halloran, who can just thump it towards the eastern wing.
Toby Green's under it, as is Hogan. Starcevic gets hands on it for the Lions. Stripped off him, though, by Toby Green. And Starcevic and Green get into a judo-type move, and the ball is locked in between them. Outer side, just in front of the logo. Shadows starting to extend over Manuka Oval on a beautiful Saturday afternoon. Twilight fixture. The Lions 1 straight 6. Giants yet to score. We'll have a secondary ball up. McInerney and Flynn wrestling. McInerney palms it down to Will Ashcroft, the number 2 draft pick. Of course, the number 1 draft pick, Aaron Cadman, is playing this afternoon as well, as Ashcroft is tackled. Didn't have prior opportunity, though, so we'll have another ball up in about a 2-metre vicinity of the first.
The Lions with the only goal so far. Bobbles clear on the wing. Flynn out here towards Toby Green. Coleman busy for the Lions so far. Gets it back. Friendly ricochet off Rayner. In goes Coleman again. Kicks inside forward 50. Out to the 1-on-1. One-handed attempt out the back by Cumming. Dunkley, though, sweeps a hand pass wide. Running by Hepwood in the goal square. Could just thump it through. And Brisbane have the first 2.
Well, very interesting, that stoppage. Giants half forward. Now, they sent Daniels in as a forward into the stoppage. Toby Green was up at the stoppage. What it allowed was Harris Andrew was able to sit loose back, but Keaton Coleman, the one that set up the play there for Brisbane, is the halfback, just sat off outside the contest. Once the ball spilled out in his vicinity, he was free because Daniels was in, and out he ran. Another clean ball going inside 50. Cumming beat him 1-on-1, and the Lions obviously get the goal, but I think it'd be interesting for the Giants to look at that stoppage. What are they going to do? If they're going to send their forwards in and leave Coleman out, they're going to have to make sure they win that footy at the stoppage.
Brisbane 2 straight 12. The Giants yet to score.
That old important adage, Sato, keep your feet.
Yep.
Isaac Cumming lost his.
Yep.
Dunkley picked it up. And he found Eric Hipwood to kick the second for the Lions. Well, one in the middle by Matt Flynn from the bounce. And your Rich is under it, just punches it away. Jared Berry's wrapped up well by Angwin, the second gamer. The late inclusion for the Giants. Umpire allows play to go on just outside 50 for GWS. O'Halloran is wrapped up, so we'll have a ball up.
Good start, Angwin.
McInerney wins it cleanly out of the ruck contest, throws it on the boot. In dispute on the wing, well picked up by Buckley. Gathered it cleanly, hit the ground running, throws it on the boot. It might just stay in here, it does. It's off the hands of Daniel Rich, so we'll have a boundary throw in just outside 50 for GWS. And Jack Buckley gets a round of applause from the Canberra locals.
The Giants still chasing their first goal of the afternoon. 10 minutes played in the opening term. Umpire heaves it back in. Rucks go at it. Flynn to the front. Lockie Neal, first pair of hands though for Brisbane. Sharks or ducks the O'Halloran tackle. He grabbed his jumper, but he's taken over the boundary line for a throw-in. So 60 around from the Giants' goal at the Manuka Pool end.
You mentioned Kitty Coleman, Sato. 4 disposals, 2 clearances, 2 inside 50s, 2 score involvements to start this game.
And back in it comes. Flynn wins it again, but the Lions have numbers. Although Angwin recovers the ball now, kicks inside 50. Rich drops the mark for Brisbane. Starcevic up in the tackle. It's great work by Cadman. Loose footy comes to Toby Green, who can snap from 35. Not enough on the kick. And getting back there and marking is Payne, who takes the mark right in the goal square for the Brisbane Lions, and they move it from defence.
Darragh Joyce sends it up the wing. Flynn tries the soccer kick on the half volley. Missed it completely. Gunston was able to gather. Ashcroft, Rayner, and now Rich. Plenty of overlap for Brisbane. Driving ball from Rich, typically so. Hits Dunkley on the chest. They go inside 50 again, looking for Charlie Cameron. But Sam Taylor, the wall is there. He is just wonderful to watch down back for the Giants. Another intercept mark to stop what looked like a likely goal.
3 in the first quarter. He's on track for 12.
He's on track for a second All-Australian Blazer roll, isn't he, Sam Taylor? Well and truly. Here's Connor Ryden in the left back pocket for the Giants. Drives it long beyond offensive 50. Out looking for Angwin, but the bigger McInerney comes across there. Won't control the ball. It's out of bounds for a throw-in.
If I'm not mistaken, it was a game here against the Lions that he played so well in that everyone said, all right, that's it, he's All-Australian. Much earlier in the season this time, but it might get that conversation going again.
I think we're already there just about in round 6. Back in it comes from the throw-in. Flynn. Ashcroft was beaten by Kelly. Cornelio for the Giants. Up to O'Halloran. His kick was by Bailey. Comes back to O'Halloran, though, who can clear through the corridor. Goes out towards half forward to the Giants. Sliding in here to take the mark is Darragh Joyce, the Irishman. Out the back for Payne, who squares the pass back to Zorko on the western wing.
Once again, the Lions have numbers spreading forward. Zorko finds Zach Bailey in game number 100. Big milestone for the smooth-moving Lion. We just guided inside 50. Danaher launches. Taylor's there with him. Hipwood can't collect it cleanly. Taylor first to the loose ball once more. Josh Kelly tries to gather it. Hipwood does in the end and carries it over the boundary line. So we'll have a boundary throw in, 45 metres out from Brisbane's goal. They are 2 straight 12. GWS yet to score. And we've gone 12 minutes in the first quarter.
Bite tosses it back in. This time Danaher doing the right work with Flynn. Great tackle from Taylor on Bailey. Ball jars free. Cornelio attempts to clear now for the Giants. Out to the commentary wing. Attempting it there was Ralston. Wins it back here for Kelly off that preferred left side. Raking ball up the commentary wing now towards the one-on-one. Hogan in from behind on Payne. Rich there first to it. They're run down though by Cadman. Great pressure from the young Giant. The umpire will ball up on the wing. Right in front of us, where it is the Lions, 2 straight 12. GWS yet to score, 13 played first term.
So what do you make of Jack Payne on Hogan, which allows Andrews to zone off defensively?
Yeah, obviously, Hogan's such a strong contested mark. Payne's a really good matchup, and like you said, it's a massive advantage then for Andrews to be able to sit off.
Giants just working it around the wing, trying to get loose ball. Kelly throws it on the boot under pressure. As a result, Daniel Rich had it, but his kick is turned over to Toby Green. And now a chance for Whitfield just inside 50 on the left. It's a poor effort from a player of his skill, and it bounces over the boundary line just next to the behind post. throw in deep in attack for the Giants.
We've seen the experience of the Brisbane halfbacks over the inexperienced Giants forwards at the moment. You know, Rich is just reading the ball a bit better than Rouston. Coleman's reading the ball. They're all reading a bit better than some of the young players for the Giants.
Thrown back in. Daniels, it's the tackle on Zorko. Ashcroft goes in hard as well. One away by Daniels. Attempted kick that time, a snap from Peatling was smothered. Loose football comes back here for Peatling. He can snap from the pocket, goes on target just right to the line. It's knocked through into the post by that cohort of Brisbane defenders. That is the Giants' first score of the game, one behind. The Lions 2 straight 12, 15 gone in the opening term on ABC Sport. This is Grandstand AFL.
Daniel Rich to bring the ball back in for the Lions in game 272, but he's first here at Manuka Oval. First trip to Canberra for Daniel Rich, and that's an awkward kick. Puts a Lions teammate under pressure just outside defensive 50, and the Giants win it back. Peatling, handball inside to Kelly, has to get rid of it quickly. Tried to volleyball spike it to a teammate, missed its mark. Here's Rayner. McCarthy's with him. Ball in dispute at half-back for the Lions. Now Andrews. Left foot snap up the wing. It'll bounce a couple of times, and O'Halloran will pick it up. Wanted, coming. Couldn't find him. Well done by Sam Taylor to save the day, as he usually does. Handball inside to O'Halloran. But again, they can't pick it up cleanly, the Giants. Zach Bailey gives the don't argue and kicks Brisbane deep into attack, and is marked by Cameron. They had 3 or 4 chances to get rid of it just outside half-back. The Giants failed to do so, and they've been made to pay.
And that's what happens at the elite level. The fundamentals are still so important. The Giants just had a fumble of the footy, a missed tackle, and that's enough for the oppo to just pounce on that, take the ball forward, and you're just under pressure as a defender. I think Connor Iden was caught one-on-one, but even the Lions had the spare player at the fall of his feet.
Charlie Cameron's on the board for the afternoon. 10 goals in his last 2 weeks. He's got another one early today, and the Lions have the hot start. They are 3 straight 18. The Giants 1 behind.
It's almost every time the Lions go forward, they get in this one-on-one matchup at the moment, but it's because they're getting some easy ball off the back of either Giants' mistake or no pressure as the ball comes through the middle of the ground. Very efficient going forward, whereas the Giants, every time they're going forward, it's a bit of a scrap fest, and it's hard work as they get the ball from wing inside 50. They've had their fair share of possession. I mean, they're leading possession 59-44, so they're winning a lot of the footy. The Giants' clearances they're strong at the moment. But like I said, it's when the Lions are able to go inside 50, they're just getting those one-on-ones.
They used to have the Cameron who kicked the goals, the Giants. Now it's a Cameron kicking them against them. And of course, he's 8 goals behind his namesake now, who leads the Coleman. Jeremy, the former Giant. A good start for Charlie Cameron here this afternoon. Restart back in the middle. Rucks go at it. Danaher and Himmelberg. Giants will clear here through Toby Green. Tumbles a high ball inside 50, 2-on-2. Strong grab from Jack Payne out the back. Good defensive intercept taken by the Lions, who will swing it away quickly back towards the wing. That's marked in space by Dunkley. Looks for a way through. It's infield now. The 2 McCluggage goes inside 50 now for Brisbane. Good chain of pass this time. Hipwood's handball chopped off though. Iden, good pressure in defence for the Giants. Sweeps it back to Haynes off the last line. Now they can choose the outer side of the ground, and Peatling comes out to mark in the right back pocket.
It's a better defensive kick from GWS. It finds a target. So many of their exits from defensive 50 have been hurried. Peatling has it at half back. Works it up the wing. Hogan wanted a free kick for in the back. Umpire was ignoring those claims. So it's picked up by Brisbane. It's Wilmot who snaps it. Only as far as Peatling though. Goes inboard to Whitfield. The Giants trying to play on quickly. Himmelberg's been swung back to try and lock things up for the Giants defensively. Finds Buckley. Now works it out wider to Angwin. Just his second game. The late inclusion for Daniel Lloyd. Is out with a calf injury. Angwin doesn't have too many options forward, so goes short to Haynes.
Haynes, likewise, just toe pokes it further afield here to Ash. He's called to play on. Swings it wide again to the outer side. A couple of Giants obliging. Away they can come. Inside forward 50. The delivery it was from Finn Callahan, wrong to the pocket, and a strong grab as well. Taken down there by Cadman. So put the Dukes up overhead, takes the overhead grab Cadman in the left forward pocket, an angle better than 45 degrees.
Patient build-up from the Giants. They just had to wait for the right options, chip their way around. There's probably 4, 5, 6 kicks through the middle part of the ground. Ash eventually got it out the other side. And as the ball did come in, Cadman just had enough space inside 50.
Left footer kicked his first goal in his first game last week. Here he is for his second game, second goal. Aaron Cadman gets the Giants first of the afternoon here in Monica. 1-1-7 the Giants, Brisbane 3 straight 18. Approaching time on here in the opening term on Grandstand AFL. Brett Sprigg, Daniel Garb and Jason Saddington.
Well, you can see it's still early in Aaron Cadman's career. Last week he got his first opportunity. You can just see he's got a little bit of class, hasn't he? He's strong overhead. That was a nice mark there inside 50. He knows where the goals are. He kicks the goals. It's great that he's getting these opportunities to get games in early in his career. It's always tough as a key position player to step into AFL footy as a forward. But it's been a promising start, and it's nice to see him in game number 2. Impact the game nice and early as well to get his confidence up again for his second crack at it.
So the number 1 draft pick and the number 2 draft pick on show this afternoon. And you think, well, Ashcroft should have gone number 1, but
it's not a bad 2.
Giants traded up for Cadman, and he's kicked their first goal of the day. Margin back to 11 points. McGluggage looks for that player we were speaking of in Ashcroft. Bounces off his chest. Josh Kelly can't get it free. So
Toby Green gone. Yeah, Toby Green in the midfield for a little stint. So obviously, with Tom Green out, they're going to have to mix it up a little bit today.
Hit the 20-minute mark in the first quarter. Lines up by 11, and they work it inside 50 again. It bounces a couple times. Clean pick-up, though, by Isaac Cumming, who came out to meet it. But it's been turned over again. McGluggage to Ashcroft on the run. He's kicked his first of the afternoon. So the number 2 draft pick responds straight after the number 1. Lions 4 straight 24. Will Ashcroft with the major. GWS 1-1-7.
All right, so it's the draft tennis at the moment. Cavan said 15 love. Ashcroft has said 15 all. Let's see how this keeps playing out. Cumming was terrific to come off his man and attack the ball, but I'm not sure who the Lions player was, but the tackle that they put on Cumming was elite. It just stopped him in his tracks, got the arm in, caused the turnover, and they were able to get some nice quick hands out to Ashcroft, and what a lovely finish from a class young player.
Now, our next draft pick then down the line, I'm trying to have a look here. Harry Rouston, of course, the other first-round pick from last year for the Giants. So he's out there. We'll keep a close watch on him. He's yet to kick a career goal as well, Harry Rouston. But, it's interesting how these things happen. Number 1 draft pick, number 2 draft pick on the board in the space of 90 seconds. From the restart, Flynn rises high, wins it down here, waiting for a clearance. Flynn follows up. Ashcroft, good pressure. His kick smothered this time. McInerney was with his hands all over it. Perryman taps it to advantage here. Kelly tries to fire the quick hand pass. Still alive here for the Giants. Perryman sweeps it forward to half forward. Daniels tips on here. Toby Green. Kadeem Coleman, great work to intercept. Wins it back here. Hand pass ricochets, though, back to him. It's a loose ball now for a Halloran from 50 for the Giants. On the burst. What a finish. Saw the opportunity. Vacant goal square. Went all the way with that banging right boot. And the Giants have their second goal through Xavier O'Halloran. 2-1-13, the Giants. Brisbane 4 straight 24. It's the Lions who lead by 11 points. 22 gone in the opening term here on ABC Grandstand AFL.
Well, talking tennis just a minute ago, there was a bit more ping pong that time, Garby. It was Giants had it, flipped it out. Lions intercept, flipped it out, and ended up with O'Halloran. And a delicious finish there from 55. He's not known for his foot skills, certainly on goal, but that was a lovely finish from him. He's a terrific player, O'Halloran. He just gives grunt to the Giants, and they love him in around the midfield in the forward half of the ground. But to hit the scoreboard as well is a bonus.
Only his 7th career goal, Xavier O'Halloran.
We haven't seen him fully establish himself with the Giants yet, so just his first game of the season last week. He was also, I think, a second-round draft pick.
Yep.
Been there for a while now, just his 35th game today. It's a nice moment for him, might help him build some confidence. Lions by 11 points, picked up by Lockie Neal, sweeping hand pass out to Wilmot, gets on his left, looks for McGluggage at half forward and finds him. So Hugh McGluggage, just outside 50, looks for the lead of Gunston, and he's hit him up in the pocket. Shadows extending over Monica Oval. He's got a little bit of sun that's left in his eyes, Jack Gunston. With his experience, he'll fancy himself from here.
They're just winning those one-on-one marking contests in the front half. McCluggage was too strong one-on-one, and Haynes in that instance, which allowed him to go back and hit up who we got having the shot on goal, Gunston. But the one-on-one marking contests have been good for the Lions.
So Jack Gunston, 5 goals in his 4 games since becoming a Lion. That one's missed on the short side through Frey behind. Brisbane 4-1-25, the Giants 2-1-13, and we've gone 24 minutes in the first quarter.
Earlier, Port beat West Coast by 40. Coming up later on, Geelong and Sydney, the grand final rematch. Gimme Park later on, looking forward to that one. A long kick to the outer side from the kick out. Still going here, recovered by Neil and helped over the boundary line for a throw-in.
So you mentioned that the Lions forwards are winning their one-on-one marking contests. It's the opposite at the other end for the Giants. I think the Lions' defence, Payne, Andrews, even Starcevic have been really strong in winning their one-on-one contests.
Brisbane by 12. Back in it comes McInerney and Flynn. Down here for Kelly. Hand pass straight to Ashcroft. Tumbles a kick up the line. McCluggage tries to work it back inboard. Now only as far as Cornelio for the Giants. Some run going through Ash. And now Callahan involved as well. They'll use the football through the corridor here, the Giants, as it comes wide to half forward. And back in the hole is Harry Ralston. So he's 55 out here. Don't get too excited. This might test his distance. He's looking to give it off here, Harry Ralston. Looking for his first career goal. Long to the hot spot this time, though. Top of the square. And a strong defensive grab taken there by Dara Joyce, the former Saint. Fullback for Brisbane.
Oh, there we have it once again. Lions winning a one-on-one marking contest in the defensive part of the ground.
And a 50-metre penalty for encroachment, I think, over the mark. May have been from Cadman. Joyce gets marched up to centre, half back. Flynn does well to get in front of designated target. Nick Haynes picks it up, sends it out wide. Brent Daniels has time to gather for GWS and then goes with a corridor kick inboard that was dangerous, and as a result is picked off by the 100-gamer in Zach Bailey. And now they can spread the lines. McCluggage has it at half forward, finds Gunston on the lead. Almost an exact replica of the play from a minute ago. And Gunston will kick from just inside 50 metres on a slight angle.
Just a poor kick from Brent Daniels to 50-50 contest in the middle of the ground. Lions intercept, and it's where your defence gets caught out. We had Whitfield on Gunston. It's a tough ask for him.
So Gunston kicked it behind from almost the exact same spot a couple of minutes ago. This one looks to have a slightly better chance. They leap in the goal square. It's over the head of the pack and through Frey behind. Hugh McCluggage up to 7 disposals. He had 29 touches and 4 goals last year here at Manuka, but only averaging 19 for the seasons, 5 under his average of the last 2 years. A slow start. Maybe this will be the game to get things going for Hugh McCluggage in 2023.
Isaac Cumming kicks wide from the kick out. Short to Whitfield. Now up the line for Cornelio.
They've got such a spread of ball winners now too, and that's probably one of the reasons why McCluggage maybe is a little bit down on possession, but still having some good impact.
Brisbane leads by 13 points here. Cornelio's kick up to a pack on the wing, and it's marked by Payne again to the Brisbane Lions. Intercepting all day so far, Jack Payne.
The Giants just can't take a mark forward half.
A tall defender from Noosa puts it long inside 50 again for Brisbane. Big leap at the back from Rayner at the drop. Gunston centres it towards goal here. Cameron off the shin. It goes in for a goal. Charlie Cameron, absolutely superb. Got in front of the contest. Just turned the ball off his shin through for a goal. Got a con bounce on the way, but that is just pure inventive class. Now that the umpire and goal umpire are conferring here, let's have a listen. I'll have the score review just to make sure it hasn't come off the... This is absolutely incredible. The ball was just... It wasn't intended for him, but he's just sort of leapt up, beaten coming back to the ball, and then it's off the 45-degree angle. It's come off the back of his shin, if that makes sense, off the side of his shin and deflected through for a goal.
100% deliberate too. He meant to do that.
I'm sure he has meant to, but to make it actually happen and go through for a goal...
That's soccer skills touch, that, isn't it?
That is a run to the front post soccer style, and you just look for the little flick on the outside of your foot, and that's what he's done. Never mind the Brisbane Lions. Get him in the Brisbane Raw side, Charlie Cameron. That is beautiful footwork.
Quite high off the foot, low on the ankle, and unless it's shaved some of the padding of the goalpost, that's a goal. That's Charlie Cameron's second. That is absolutely extraordinary.
That's going to be a goal of the year contender.
100%. I've never seen anyone deliberately do that with a little... From what was he, about 15 out, to just stick the shin out and let it just ricochet off.
Confirmation goal. Charlie's got his second. What a way for it to happen as well. The Brisbane Lions are 5-2-32, GWS 2-1-13. The margin out to 19 as we approach quarter time here on Grandstand AFL.
That is just such a unique goal. It's something we don't see too often, but the skill required for that outside of the right foot, as you say, about 15 metres out from goal, jumping up at the same time. That is deft touch. To do that with an Australian rules football is so difficult.
Yeah. But even he wasn't even at the top of the goal square. It was a 45-degree angle out, 15 metres out.
So Gunston with a cross from the left wing. Cameron hits the front post and guides it off his foot.
To even try it, to go, I'm not going to put my hands out here, I'm just going to let it roll off the leg. That is unbelievable.
Some magic from Charlie Cameron as the Lions up by 19 points as we get close to the end of the first quarter. He's got 2. And we just sat back and watched in amazement at that skill. Lions win it out of the centre again. Lachie Neale's kick isn't clean, so Ash is able to gather at half-back. Coleman's tracking it in front of Daniels, and Kadeem Coleman's happy to see that go out over the boundary line in front of the fans who are packed on the hill as the sun starts to go down and the lights start to take on more relevance here at Manuka Oval. Beautiful afternoon in the nation's capital.
They get good crowds here, don't they, for the Giants home games? 3 a year. Always well supported, the Giants. Back in it comes. Flynn down to Ward. He's dumped by McInerney, and the umpire balled up again.
I've been really impressed with Matty Flynn's first quarter. As a big man, he's doing all the work on his own as a ruckman, but he's won the footy, he's won the hit-outs. It's been a really strong start from him.
Clean tap here for Canelio. It's helped himself there, McInerney. He kicks back here inside or towards half forward. Gunston juggles it, takes the mark, 65 from goal. Called to play on now, off his line on the wobbly ball inside forward, 50. It might drop okay, though, and a nice mark by Rayner. Well judged. He was leading out and beat his opponent to the football in that time, Peatling. But Rayner takes the mark, 40 out directly in front.
Well, same story again, winning their marking contests. Gunston beats Haynes one-on-one in a marking contest, gets it inside to Rayner, who beats Buckley in a one-on-one marking contest. It's killing the Giants at the moment, just losing those. They need to be able to halve those, but the Lions at both ends of the ground. Payne's been awesome in the back half winning the marking contest.
Tells us that they are a cut above, aren't they, the Brisbane Lions on the Giants' opponent last week, Hawthorn. Here's Rayner from 45 with a set shot, and he's just missing to the left-hand side for a minor score. The Brisbane Lions 5-3-33, Greater Western Sydney 2-1-13. We've played 31 minutes now in the opening term.
Looking ominous for GWS early. Need to get going, struggling to get some fluid ball movement. McInerney with a punch on the wing. They just win it back in dangerous places, the Lions, over and over again. But that's a strong tackle from Canelio on McGluggage. He's caught him holding the ball at half-back for GWS. Stephen Canelio enjoying an excellent season. 7th in the comp for inside 50s, 11th for disposals. Works it up to Perryman. Whitfield's running off him with his left. He guides a beautiful ball onto the chest of Jesse Hogan. 60 out from goal. He goes short again. Looking for Daniels. Well done by Dunkley to cut it off. Wins it back, Dunkley. Strong tackles inside 50 from the Giants. They wrap it up. And the Lions' defence holds firm.
Once again, the Lions' defence holds firm.
Ball in the air. Hogan wins it down. Towed forward by Dunkley. Still waiting for a clearance. Neale goes in hard. And he's wrapped up by Canelio, or balled up 40 out from the Giants' goal.
Kelly and Canelio on 10 disposals. McGluggage and Dunkley both 7 for the Lions.
32 minutes played in the opening term. Approaching quarter time here at Manuka Oval. Over the top, McInerney wins it down. As Dunkley's kick smothered, it comes to Kelly instead. Turns on the right boot, snaps. It's got some distance. It's missing, though, to the left-hand side for a minor score. The Giants 2-2-14. Brisbane 5-3-33.
And you're rich to bring it back in. And it's one more game to equal Sean Hart for the 6th most in Brisbane history. Long kick up to just outside defensive 50. Picked up by Josh Kelly. The Giants go back into attack again. Off hands, Himmelberg gathers it. Well tackled by Rich. Socket off the ground and it finds the chest of Cam Rayner. Fortuitously for Brisbane.
I think we'll see them slow it right down here. I think we're almost at the end of the quarter.
There is the siren here in Canberra to signal the end of the first term, and it's Brisbane enjoying a healthy lead. They are 5-3-33, GWS 2-2-14. Brisbane lead by 19 points. The first quarter lit up by a goal of the year contender from Charlie Cameron.
He's got 2 so far. Yeah, it's still hard to describe. That little flick off the outside of the boot, quite high on the foot, through from 15 metres out. That was his second goal. Singles to Ashcroft, McCarthy and Hipwood, while for the Giants, The 2 goals so far were kicked by Aaron Cadman and Xavier O'Halloran. The Brisbane Lions by 19 points here at Manuka on ABC Radio, News Radio and ABC Sport Digital, as well as the ABC Listen app. This is Grandstand AFL.
Victor Moa, Boomerang, Hills Hoist, One Day Cricket. Aussies are an inventive lot.
It couldn't have been made anywhere else.
Tony Armstrong is rolling open the shed door to explore Aussie creations.
They tell us who we are and the times we live in.
And in there lies the charm.
From Speedos to Stubbies to the humble meat pie.
Enjoy the show.
Great Australian stuff. Tuesday nights on ABC TV and streaming on ABC iView.
Grandstand AFL.
Now streaming every match on the ABC Listen app.
Look for the AFL button.
Lincoln McCarthy searching for the first of the afternoon here in Canberra. And he guides it straight through the middle.
In goes Coleman again, kicks inside forward 50, out to the one-on-one. One-handed attempt out the back by Cumming. Dunkley, though, sweeps a hand pass wide. Running by Hepwood in the goal square, could just thump it through. And Brisbane have the first 2.
Zach Bailey gives the don't argue and kicks Brisbane deep into attack and is marked by Cameron. Charlie Cameron's on the board for the afternoon. 10 goals in his last 2 weeks. He's got another one early today, and the Lions have the hot start.
Inside 50, left footer. Kicked his first goal in his first game last week. Here he is for his second. Second game, second goal. Aaron Cadman gets the Giants first.
It's been turned over again. McGluggage to Ashcroft on the run. He's kicked his first of the afternoon. So the number 2 draft pick responds straight after the number 1.
It's a loose ball now for a Halloran from 50 for the Giants. On the burst, what a finish. Saw the opportunity, vacant goal square, went all the way with that banging right boot. Puts it long inside 50 again for Brisbane. Big leap at the back from Rayner. At the drop, Gunston centres it towards goal here. Cameron off the shin, it goes in for a goal. Charlie Cameron absolutely superb. Got in front of the contest, just turned the ball off his shin, through for a goal.
The 2023 AFL season.
On radio,
ABC Sport Digital.
and now streaming on the ABC Listen app.
Didn't do it justice.
Oh, I don't know about
Brisbane
that.
Lions by 19 points at the first change here in Canberra. You're with Brett Sprigg, Daniel Garb and Jason Saddington. Earlier, Port Adelaide beat West Coast by 40 points at Adelaide Oval. We'll bring you a chat with the Peter Badco medal winner, the best on ground, Connor Rosie, back-to-back best on grounds during the Anzac appeal round for him. So a 2-time Peter Badco medal VC recipient. And we'll hear from him at halftime here. In the meantime, Jason Saddington, your thoughts on the opening half hour or so here in Canberra?
What we do love is that we have listeners that are listening to the game, all right, but we need them to step away at some point and watch a replay of that Charlie Cameron goal, because, like you said, you can't do it justice just down the radio line. So I urge everyone to have a look at the Charlie Cameron.
I usually say on the news tonight, you'll see it on the news tonight, but usually these days it's probably just on your Instagram. Or
yeah, just check it out like that. That's right, don't tune out. No, look, I mentioned before the game, I thought the midfield was going to be interesting in this bout for the Giants to be able to compete with the Lions. That's actually been a really even contest through the first quarter, and I think the Giants have done quite well through the middle. Matty Flynn's been on top in the ruck. Josh Kelly has won 12 possessions. Cornelio 11. Even the contested possession, the Giants are winning +3. So what's happening in the middle of the ground has been very, very even, and the Giants are holding their own. The biggest difference in this game is what's happening at both ends of the ground. The Brisbane Lions are dominant at both ends of the ground. So their backs are winning every single one-on-one contest. Payne's been super strong. I think Hogan's only had the one mark. We haven't seen Toby Green take a mark. They're winning their one-on-ones in the air. And the experience of their smalls across halfback. Daniel Rich is able to read the game a little bit quicker than a Harry Roust. And Keaton Coleman's been really strong running off halfback and setting the Lions up as they go inside 50. So the Lions defenders are well on top against the Giants forwards. And the other end of the ground, the Lions forwards are dominant against the Giants defenders, especially in those one-on-one marking contests. And you can see contested marks, the Lions have 7. And the Giants only 1. So it's at both ends of the ground. The Lions are absolutely dominant in the air.
Keep your correspondence coming via text as well, 0437 774 774. Mikey from Bendigo. Hi guys, my first time at Manuka. It's like going to a good old suburban ground. Go Lions. Mikey from Bendigo sitting in the hill stand. It's opposite us. Mikey, hello to you. Big wave. Hi guys. Kim in Northampton, WA. Stuck in the tractor seating, but love listening to AFL on the wireless. Do you think Brisbane can go all the way this year? Well, they're in the conversation, as we discussed pre-game, but then again, they've come pretty close a couple of times in the last sort of half-decade under Chris Fagan as well. So I don't know as to what is any more different about this year, apart from Will Ashcroft, I suppose, as to what that difference is that they can go all the way, where they've fallen short in recent years.
And Josh Dunkley, and they'll be better for those scalps they took last year in the finals. They played 3 finals. That'll help them a lot, won't it, Sato?
Oh, I think there are massive chances here. Oh, they're actually my pick to win the flag. Yeah, Gunston's the other one that they've brought in. They've just bolstered their list.
A few more numbers, Garby.
So Dunkley 8 disposals, McGluggage 7, Daniel Rich 7, Ashcroft 6 and a couple of clearances. For GWS, Kelly 12, Cornelio 11. They need more help, those two. They need a Perryman and a Whitfield to stand up a bit more and give them a chop out.
Brisbane by 19 into the second quarter we go. Coleman, hand pass back to McCluggage. Dummies the hand pass. Swings around Kelly cleverly. Loads up, going inside 50. Sort of spears the pass in the end. And as a result, Iden gets back there to take the defensive mark. The Giants can switch across here. He finds Haynes at fullback. Opts to go again. Wider still to Iden. Marks in the left back pocket. All the ground in shadows now as the artificial light takes over. Haynes can clear, but only as far as, guess who? Jack Payne intercepts again here. It's about 65 from goal. Just forward to the wing for the Brisbane Lions. Sends them back inside 50. Bailey was caught napping, and as a result, Haynes takes the defensive grab for the Giants.
Jesse Hogan, just the one disposal, Sato. Jack Payne is all over him at the moment.
He is. He's been one of the best players on the ground, Jack Payne.
Nick Haynes with the defensive mark just works it forward to Finn Callaghan, who's the number 3 draft pick, but from a couple of years ago. Number 1 and number 2 draft picks from last year, of course, on display. Ashcroft and Cadman, both of them with the goal. As Callaghan just works it forward, barely the 15 metres to Josh Kelly, who now sends it long up the wing. Hogan's under it. Again, Payne's with him through their hands. McInerney, the big ruckman, has to try and pick it up with Matt Flynn tracking him. He gets some support from a teammate. Now to Coleman, who snaps it back up the wing. Well done by Buckley, though. It's been really impressive in the early parts of this season, Jack Buckley, to work his way to the front and mark in front of the 100-gamer in Zach Bailey. Has support from Haynes. He has a bounce pass. Handball to Callaghan, went through his legs, but he was able to gather it and then try and snap it forward. It's scrappy from GWS. Hogan picks it up. Handball over his shoulder. Green with the silky handball to Daniels. That's a bit better from the Giants, but the Lions win it back. Bailey. And now McInerney on his hands and knees. Jared Berry and Starcevic work it up, but only as far as Haynes. Kelly, now Haynes again.
Goes back inside 50 here for the Giants. High ball, who wants it? Harris Andrews goes up. One down by Daniels of the Giants. Tipped on wide here again by Rouston. Peatling evades Coleman. Gets set now. Snaps great. Second effort to smother from Coleman. Giants get it back though. Cornelio's short pass by foot to O'Halloran. Just went the required 15 somehow. And he'll be paid the mark. 45 out, slightly right of centre. Great second effort from Dean Coleman.
Oh, brilliant. Their pressure has been outstanding in that back half as well. But it was a lucky fallback there for the Giants. Little chip out. And O'Halloran has his second shot on goal here. He kicked one from 55, which we liked in the first.
On the run in the first term.
Yeah. This one set shot.
This time to the cathedral end of the ground, the Manuka end of the so-named oval. Kicks from 50. O'Halloran. Breeze brings it back. That is his second. A very slight breeze, I would say, as well, in this late afternoon. But the Giants have their third. 3-2-20, trailing Brisbane, who are 5-3-33. 3.5 gone in the second term. Adam Shirley on the boundary.
From that first quarter at ground level, it's really clear how the speed out of contest, the speed out of various areas of the ground for the Brisbane Lions was really doing them well for that quick ball movement. For the first 2 minutes, the Giants have managed to throttle that back a bit, hence a bit more messy ball from the Giants, and it's led to that goal. From ground level, it just seemed really obvious the Giants are checking and standing their players a lot closer than perhaps at times in that first quarter.
Yeah, it's a fast deck, isn't it? It's think he said lush but firm, Adam, in the first.
That's the one.
But,
and the skills, a la Charlie Cameron, have shown that up, I think.
Absolutely. Lions by 13 points here.
So Xavier O'Halloran, picked 22 in 2018, early second-round pick, struggled to establish himself as a Giant. 2 goals early in this game. And GWS wins it from the clearance. Here's Cornelio just inside 50. Set up the last goal. Handball to Toby Green. He snaps towards the square. It is palmed away by Darragh Joyce up against Aaron Cadman. And it's a rush behind. Daniel Rich plays on quickly on that thumping left foot. Looking for Dunkley, strong overhead. Timed his jump superbly in front of Kelly and Mark. Josh Dunkley, but it's not a clean kick. Chance for GWS to win it back through Ash. He soccers it towards the boundary line and we'll have a throw-in just in front of the Giants' dugout. They trail by 12 points. The Lions are 5-3-33. GWS 3-3-21 early stages in the second quarter.
Another important player off contract for the Giants, Lockie Ash. Also hoping for his signature very soon. Kelly over around the football. McCluggage for the Lions. Dummy here from Wilmot was clever. Kicks a hurried ball high off that left boot. And it's out of bounds on the full. The Giants will get the ball back just forward of right half back. So it's the Brisbane Lions who lead here by 12 points. Taylor squares it. Infield. Here he does manage to find Isaac Cumming. 25 disposals, 6 tackles for him last week. Up to a pack on the wing. Rich into the back of him was Flynn. Mowed him down. Perryman, he's run down though by Cameron. Ball got loose though. Angwin, hot footy here for the Giants. Back to Kelly. Loose man back to Cumming. Goes the fend on Lockie Neal. Works it forward now on his own. Cornelio. Sharks his way around Dunkley. Kick was too deep though for Iden. Recovers. Yeah, his head ripped off by Gunston. So a free kick for a high tackle that time. Gunston on Iden. The Giants have the ball right on halfway here at Monica.
And it's with Nick Haynes, and he's got space to thump GWS deep into attack. The launch from Toby. Brought it to ground. Daniels is there. Looking for it is Peatling. He's burrowing away. It's wrapped up. Level ball up inside 50 for the Giants. It was a big leap from Toby Green.
Yeah, and you had Cadman was right behind him with his dukes out too. Both of them had a flight.
Hogan doing the ruck work, looking for Daniels. Angwin's there, can't get free. Daniels was held without it though, and he's won a free kick inside 50. And all of a sudden, the Giants have the chance to bring this back to a goal, the margin.
Well, it's been an energetic start from the Giants. The pressure around the Lions players around the ball has been stepped up from the first quarter, and they've been really busy in the front half, flicking the ball around. Looks like they're trying to handball the ball through a little bit more to get through the Brisbane Lions contest, and it's been working so far. They look energetic.
Missed all of last season, Brent Daniels, 6 goals in this campaign. The Giants rate him highly. That's why they've persisted with him, and he rewards them in this instance with a goal, an important one. Brent Daniels first of the afternoon, but the margin back to one major. The Giants 4-3-27, the Lions 5-3-33, 7 minutes gone in the second quarter.
And it is a nice in for the Giants to have Daniels back in this week. Missed the Hawthorn game, but his form prior to that and also tonight or this afternoon has been really, really strong. He's suffered with injuries for the past couple of years, and probably to that point where we're starting to wonder, what's going to happen with his career. Is he going to get a crack at it, and show the potential that he's got and how highly the Giants do rate him? And so far this year, he's been a super important player for them up forward. He's highly involved in the forays forward. He sets up goals and he's kicking goals himself. So brilliant start again tonight for Brent Daniels, become a really important player for them.
Had plenty of time out, didn't he? Came back in round 1 along with Jack Buckley. Just a year and a half of footy. On the restart, Flynn. Cornelio was beaten by Neal. Brisbane win the clearance. Going down the corridor inside 50. Rayner, ball from behind by Haynes. Buckley tries hard here for the Giants again into the back of Bailey. Loose football mopped up for the Giants defence. Whitfield fires the hand pass out here. They're away as Angwin sends his kick towards Ward. It was knocked back here towards Angwin. Beaten though this time. The Lions bring it away. Gunston goes inside forward 50. Danaher plays on. He comes in with a centering ball to Bailey. And he takes a simple mark. Bailey 35 out on the 45-degree angle.
Just got hurt on the turnover. The Giants, Angwin's kick just didn't quite hit as he went inside. once the Lions win that ball centre wing on a turnover, they're very, very good at hurting you as they go back inside 50, and some cute little ball movement there. Nice little foot skills to hit a couple of 15-metre passes to get this set shot.
100th game for Zach Bailey.
Terrific player.
There he is with a set shot. Right behind him as he kicks here. An important one for the Brisbane Lions, who have had their margin or their lead cut back to 6 points. He kicks him down the mark and he misses anyway. So it's a minor score. Brisbane 5-4-34. The Giants 4-3-27. 9 gone second term here on Grandstand AFL.
Led off for GWS. Zach Bailey fails to mark his 100th game with the goal to this point. Likely to get plenty more opportunities. Lockie Ash darts out of his defensive goal square, sends it up to the wing. Himmelberg's under it, punched away from him by Joyce. Angwin with the volleyball pass to Cornelio, and now to Josh Kelly. Umpire deemed it legal. They work it up to centre half forward, and Jesse Hogan's got it. Just his second disposal coming up. Directing traffic, Jesse Hogan, and he's turned it over. He's fuming at a teammate in Finn Callahan. He wanted him to run deep into the pocket. Hogan has given Callahan a serve after turning that over.
Margin 7 points the Brisbane Lions way. There's Payne marks again, this time uncontested at right half back. Call to play on. They converge on the outer wing. Oh, huge fly from Danaher. Pulls in the grab in front of those corporate marquees. And the Tom Green fan club. Danaher wheels around that preferred left peg. Deep ball inside forward 50. At the back, he's dangerous. Charlie Cameron onto the football and snaps from close range with a check side finish. And Cameron has his third. He is just far too dangerous lurking down there. And Charlie's got 3. The Brisbane Lions extend their lead back to 13 points. 6-4 plays 4-3. 11 gone in the second term here at Monica Oval.
Well, he came back to the Giants, had the ball there. It was Hogan in the middle of the ground. He had plenty of options. He didn't know which one to take. He ended up missing the kick. As soon as the Lions won it inside 50, straight out to the wing, Joe Danaher, terrific, massive grab. Gets the ball in. Charlie Cameron, you can't stop him one-on-one. He's too hard to stop, too quick, and nice finish.
So after giving Finn Callahan a bake, Jesse Hogan, he's just run back to him and apologised. Just had the binoculars on the pair and just explained what he wanted him to do and how important it was that he ran deep into the pocket. He said, lip reading to an extent, sorry if I went too far, but this is what I needed, and Finn Callahan acknowledged it. Big goal for Charlie Cameron anyway. He's now...
I do understand that, but still the kick from Hogan when he chose another option was a poor one.
And perhaps he took out his frustration on the youngster. Charlie Cameron with 3 majors. 13 points the lead for Brisbane. They've got it at centre half forward, but it's turned over. Kelly, quick handball to Lockie Ash. O'Halloran throws it on the boot. Deep into attack now for the Giants. Now Hogan can gather. Did so smoothly. Handball back to Callahan, the player he's just been talking to at length. Callahan on his right foot. Goes inside 50. McInerney does the roving for Brisbane. It's handball back to Jared Berry, though, put him under pressure. Berry's wrapped up in it. Just behind centre half forward for GWS will have a ball up.
Gee, you're good to spot that, Garvey. They must have made amends because Hogan next possession, he gave it to Callahan. Yeah, they've made friends again.
Brisbane by 13. Dunkley, hand pass off to Ashcroft, mown down from behind by Cal Ward, the much elder statesman. And the umpire will ball it up. Well, in fact, it's going to be... It is a ball up, yeah. So on that occasion, he didn't have Price as the umpire. Ball up at centre half forward here for the Giants. Ward reaching for it, throws boot to ball. Does cleverly here get it out in space. Payne is beating Hogan. Now clears for the Brisbane Lions. Great grab back for the flight as well, this time for Charlie Cameron. Got tangled up mid-flight with Whitfield and somehow controlled the ball in his lap. The Lions will have it at left half back here with a 13-point lead.
He's everywhere as Charlie, but that's not one of his better moments. He's turned it over at half forward. The Giants are rather generous, though. They've almost given it back. Scrapping away is Whitfield. Got it to Kelly, and now Angwin throws it on the boot. So the Giants inside 50. Big leap from Himmelberg. That's been trademarked for him this season. Off hands, falls to Peatling. Now Daniels has time to line up and goal. Went for the snap rather than the drop punt. The banana, in fact. And it just curled away 4A behind. So 12 points the difference. Giants are 4-4-28, the Lions 6-4-40.
Brisbane waste no time here on the exit. McCluggage, Taylor in the contest down there with McCarthy. Couldn't control the mark. Loose ball gathered by Danaher. He goes to turn Ash inside out. Now just stumps that left peg again inside forward 50. Iden back to the flight. Takes intercept mark, controls it to his chest. The Giants can rebound here through Buckley.
It's slingshot footy at the moment from both sides. Giants through Buckley. Headed up to Pete Ling now. Cornelio, who's up to 18 disposals. His partner in crime in the midfield, Josh Kelly, has 20. Big numbers from a couple of the big names for GWS. Cornelio is held up. Sends it inside 50 now. Big leap from Toby Green. He's marked it on the second attempt. 2 bites of the cherry for Toby. Just watched it down into his arms after controlling it. And he'll kick from a 45-degree angle, 50 metres out.
And you mentioned Cornelio up to, was it 18 possessions and Kelly 20. It's a reflection of the game. It's been free-flowing. The ball's moving up and back. And the midfielders are just super busy in the chain as the ball moves from end to end both ways. It's highly entertaining footy to watch. I must admit, really enjoying it. Not a lot of contests. And Toby Green now with a set shot. We haven't seen a lot of him tonight.
14 goals for the season, equal third in the Coleman. Just manages to sneak it through. The Giants skipper brings the margin back to a goal. An entertaining contest here in the capital. GWS 5-4-34, the Lions 6-4-40.
An important finish from Toby. As just mentioned, we probably haven't seen a lot of him tonight. That's probably his first mark of the footy too. He hasn't found a lot of space, so when he's taken the opportunity to obviously compete, jump in, take the grab, then go back and slot it through, just gives the team that maintained confidence. They're playing some good footy through this quarter. They have upped the handball around the contest. They're leading handballs, I think, by 70 to 40 over the line. So it's a shift in the way they're trying to play around the contest. Handball the ball around a little bit, get through, and then try and get some more stronger contests in the front half, and Toby Green was able to do that on that occasion.
Voice of Jason Haddington on Grandstand AFL. Restart back in the middle. Ashcroft drops a toe at forward. Dunkley goes to assist. Comes back to Ashcroft now. Neil running by. Shares it with Bailey. Good pressure from Berryman. Takes him to ground. Ball and all. And the umpire will ball it up at a half forward for the Brisbane Lions. The lead is just 6 points now off the back of that Toby Green major. McInerney just goes through the air uncontested. Just thumps it clear inside 50 for Brisbane. Good a path of the ball though. Isaac Cumming. Handball out in space. Haynes over around the ball. Gunston kicks through traffic. Tumbles it through on the bounce. Good vision from the veteran. Kicked through a pack of players that somehow went through untouched. And the Brisbane Lions get their response out of seemingly nowhere through the former Hawk. 7-4-46 the Lions. The Giants are 5-4-34. Margin back to 12. 16 gone, second term Grandstand AFL.
And the exact call there, a goal out of nowhere. It was just a pack of players around the ball as it's bobbling about. Cameron had his hands on it for a sec, but Gunston just clean, quick pick up, throw it on the boot. Fantastic goal sense to know where the big sticks are. As soon as it came off the boot, it was heading straight through the middle, and a clean bounce through it went. Very clever from Gunston to be able to pull that out from nowhere.
Just quickly off the SMS, 0437 774 774. Hello boys, it's Footy Mad Laurel in Rushworth. Been in Shepparton watching grandsons play in the Goulburn Valley League. 1 win, 1 loss while listening to your AFL call. Waiting now to hear the Cats and Swans call out a cheers. That'd be an awkward car ride home, wouldn't it? 1 win, 1 loss, sort of mixed bag anyway.
Brisbane by 2 goals here. Perryman throws it on the boot. It torpedoes into attacking 50 for the Giants. Brisbane able to clear. Himmelberg works. Danaher under the football. Umpire says play on it. Slap forward. Picked up by Ward. Now O'Halloran. Can he kick his third for the afternoon? You bet he can. Xavier O'Halloran having a day out. He has 3. And the margin back to a goal. The Giants 6-4-40. The Lions 7-4-46. Where's this come from Xavier O'Halloran?
Hey, confidence. He's up and about. He's a lovely goal in the first quarter, and I think at the time you mentioned it, Garby, maybe this is the thing that will catapult Xavier O'Halloran forward in his career, and tonight he's continued on. It's brilliant finish again. 3 goals for O'Halloran in the first half, and it's just what the Giants need, players to keep bobbing up, be clean, kick goals as they try and hold into this game, and it's at 6 points, and it's a really good contest, back and forward. I'm enjoying it.
Only, 6 goals in his career before today, and now he's got half that tally in one go in less than a half of football.
Before half time.
There we go, an unlikely spearhead, Xavier O'Halloran. Back in the middle, snatched clear by Danaher, has a bounce. Low ball inside 50, sets a task for McCarthy, shrugs the tackle of Haynes, loose ball Ashcroft, all on his own rainer here. He's eventually wrapped up by Whitfield, receives a hand pass back to Whitfield, fires it away here for Haynes, and now Iden from the right back pocket. High ball, exits defensive 50. Up goes Himmelberg, couldn't pull it down. Fresh air shot off the ground this time from Rouston. Knocked back the other way here by the Lions. Rayner goes in hard again. Himmelberg tries for the Giants. And now it's just ricocheting out over the boundary line for a throw-in. 65 around from the Brisbane Lions goal at the Monica Pool end. It's they who lead by 6 points here. 19 gone in quarter number 2.
Of course, Cam Rayner, another number 1 draft pick on show today. We might have a record for the most number 1 and number 2 draft picks in the same game. You got Whitfield, you got Cornelio, you got Kelly, who are all out there at the moment. Plenty on display. It's leading to an entertaining game of football. Jared Berry picks it up and snaps Brisbane into attack. Bounces over the head of Connor Iden. Has time to gather. And his clearing kick, though, is marked by Wilmot. Plays on. Long ball for Brisbane off the hands of Buckley. Lockie Ash is looking for it. Gathers it. Scrappy kick on the left, though. Now Angwin looks to find Ash again. He just punches it forward. Gathered here by Connor McKenna. Actually had the earlier possession, Connor McKenna for Brisbane. It wasn't Wilmot. We'll have a boundary throw in just outside 50 for the Lions, who lead by a goal.
Started to see a couple little fumbles come in there. I'm wondering if it's starting to get a bit dewy downstairs now that the sun's going down and the temperature's dropping.
And Adam Shelley very shortly as the umpire throws it in front of the old Jack Fingleton scoreboard. Which, of course, transported from the MCG all those years ago. It's knocked away from the rucks and out of bounds for a throw in same part of the ground. Brisbane Lions by 6 points. There's those pinkish purple hues on the outer side of Manuka Oval as the sun sets behind us. In the early evening here in the capital. Again, it comes back in. Flynn and Danaher in the ruck. Dunkley controls it. Hand pass out wide for Zorko. On the bounce, tracks it now. Kicks hurriedly inside 50. Hipwood, strong contested grab. Had Buckley in behind him, but controlled the ball to his chest, and he's deep in the right forward pocket, the left footer.
Another strong contested mark. I think that's 10-1 now, contested marks. The Lions lead.
Eric Hipwood, 4 goals 2 against North last week. They all had pretty good days out, those key forwards. Hipwood, Danaher, Charlie Cameron as well, of course. Hipwood this time straightens up, but not enough, and he misses near side. That pulls it to the right for a minor score. The Brisbane Lions 7-5-47, GWS 6-4-40, margin 7, time on now in the second term.
The Giants trying to end a 7-game losing streak here in Canberra, where they enjoy wonderful support. That's on show again on this Saturday afternoon. Exiting kick from defensive 50 from Whitfield is marked by Kadeem Coleman. It's a free kick in the end. He had his arm chopped, Coleman, as he was trying to bring that ball in. On his left, looks for the lead of Hipwood. Watching him all the way, though, is Nick Haynes, punched away from Hipwood. We'll have a boundary throw in inside 50 for the Lions. Nick Haynes enjoying a good season. He's got 4 marks today, and he's second in the competition for total marks, Nick Haynes, getting plenty of it.
Umpire heaves it back in. Stoppage inside 50 for the Brisbane Lions. O'Halloran reaching for it, so too coming. On hands and knees, Dunkley trying to clear, but the umpire will ball it up.
We'll see a couple of stoppages in a row. It's been unusual for this game so far. It's generally got out and kept moving.
Brisbane leads by 7. Tap clear here. Dunkley again dispossessed. Whitfield waiting for it, put on his backside in the process. McCarthy handball in space, and it's run over the boundary line again, this time by Finn Callahan. So another stoppage coming up for the Brisbane Lions in their attacking zone. 22.5 gone. The Lions are 7-5-47. The Giants 6-4-40. Here's Dan Garb.
They'll be proud of the response. GWS trailed by 19 points at quarter time, back to 7 now, but the ball is in attack for the Lions. It's cleared by GWS, but only as far as Daniel Rich, who's 60-odd metres out. And on his left peg, he's every chance from here if he wants to give it a go. I don't think he'll do that. He'll just pop it up. And guiding his way to the front and marking is Rayner. Cameron Rayner. Might not be the tallest bloke inside 50, but he has a leap on him. He just worked his way to the front of that pack and took the contested grab.
A little bit too easy. There was a nice pack there, but he was able to get free of his opponent, getting a free running jump at it. He is a good strong mark overhead, Cam Rayner.
Kicked 3 goals in the Lions win here last season, and he's on the board in this game, Cameron Rayner. And Brisbane stretched the margin out to 13 points. They are 8-5-53, GWS 6-4-40. Lovely finish from Rayner after a big contested mark deep in attack.
Yeah, it was just, I mean, you made the call that Rich just sort of sat it up. It was nice sort of 55-metre layup. But Rayner was just able to get the running jump off. I think it was Iden that was tracking him through, but just stopped in his run, and Rayner was able to just drift across the front of the pack. He had eyes for the footy. He's a good, strong overhead mark. I'm sure if Iden had his time back again, he'd make sure that he flew with him, and or at least keep him down. Don't give him a chance to run and jump.
He's played some different roles this year, Cam Rayner. He was sort of swung half back at times to cover for Coleman when he's been injured, Glenn Coleman, but he's played mostly up forward, of course, as evidenced by his 8 goals and counting. 8-5 plays 6-4. The Brisbane Lions by 13. Clearance goes the way of the Giants, though. Cornelio's hand pass to Toby Green. Out to the run here of Perryman. Can he finish from 49? No, he can't. He sprays it well wide, out of bounds on the full. Down to Adam Shirley on the boundary.
Film of dew visible on the playing surface now. Signature of a cool, clear Canberra evening, I guess. So you might see a bit more spillage in the contest and hence a bit more stoppage too.
And it's basically a night game now. The sun has gone down and the lights are doing a lot of work, and it's set for a beautiful evening as Nick Haynes works his way to the front of the pack and marks. 70 metres out from goal for GWS. Thumps the Giants deep into attack. Leaping at the front is Himmelberg. Looking to rove it is Rouston. He puts a lot of pressure on McKenna, who keeps it in. And Dunkley did well to guide it over the boundary line. We'll have a throw in just inside 50 for the Giants, who trail by 13 points.
I think Himmelberg was looking for some shoulders to jump on then, and they didn't come, so he accidentally ran under the footy.
He's got 2 Mark of the Year contenders. It's enough for round 6, isn't it?
Yeah, well, he missed out last week, didn't he? Cody Waitman got the nom of the year last week. Himmelberg's was beaten on that occasion. Here comes Peatling, fires the hand pass, receives a hand pass, goes with a kick inside 50. It missed Himmelberg. Now Toby Green. It goes up in the air, knocked away by Harris Andrews. And now Kadeen Coleman can clear for the Brisbane Lions. Out to the contest where it's Hipwood and Flynn. Ashcroft. It's worked away here, back to Perryman. The Giants on the overlap now are Halloran. Gets tipped on back here for Zorko. So turned over again, and the Lions have it through Danaher.
And they've got plenty of players running into space. Danaher looks for Charlie Cameron, gets in front of Iden. Had the chance to mark Cameron, one of his rare blemishes today. Couldn't do so. Ball stays in, though. Excellent kick from Hipwood to find Danaher just outside 50. The 2 key forwards combining. And Danaher just goes back to the top of his long mark and says, I'll have a shot at goal.
Yeah, poor old Connor Iden was the one trying to chase Charlie Cameron, who's heading back inside 50. Just bounced off his chest, but beautiful work from Hipwood to just pull the ball back inside when he picked up the crumb and hit Danaher, who from 55-60 is well within his range.
12 goals, 9 behinds for the season. Kicked 5 last week, though, against North Melbourne. This is a beautiful effort. It's got the distance and the accuracy from a long way out, Joe Danaher. I think he's kicked a major, but the goal umpire wants to have a look to make sure it wasn't touched on the line. And that makes for an anticlimactic call of what would be a wonderful goal.
Yeah, I think Matty Flynn, the big ruckman's on the line.
It's over.
Yeah, I think it's just behind.
It's over.
Behind the line.
It's over. We'll have a look at the review, but that is clearly over. So that is a fantastic finish from Joe Danaher for a long way out. And the Lions lead will be back to 19 points, and Danaher will have his first of the early evening.
It's just a beautiful finish, wasn't it? Well, you know, when he's within range, and it is a goal being called, if he's within range, it was a smart move to go back and have the set shot. He's such a beautiful kick of the football, and no trouble there from 55 to 60. Just put it on the boot, went dead straight, and just did enough to cross the line before Matty Flynn could get his fingers on it. It's behind the line.
To a game high 19-point lead the Brisbane Lions way. That was the margin at quarter time. And Joe Danaher in his 49th game as a Lion with his first goal of the evening.
Hipwood's kick back inside to Danaher is beautiful. For a player that's 200 plus centimetres, Hipwood, to be able to just hit a target like that out the corner of his eye was elite.
The voice of Jason Saddington on Grandstand AFL. Alongside Brett Sprigg, Daniel Garb, Adam Shirley on the boundary. As day becomes night here at Manuka Oval in Canberra. It's the Lions by 19 points. On the restart, Green was being held by Neil and wins the free kick duly.
Been quick out of the centre bounce the last couple of the Giants.
Toby Green sends a high kick in. Hope up inside forward 50. Payne second bite, couldn't put it in defence. McCluggage brought to ground here by Halloran. The umpire says, give it to me. Well, ball up 35 out from the Giants' goal.
It's like they're backing in Matty Flynn. He's winning the hit outs. They're getting forward on those centre bounces.
Hogan does the ruck work, picked up by Berry, just handballs it to the advantage of Starcevic. He tried to soccer it away, but Whitfield has it. Ball didn't go the 15. He's under pressure. Whitfield does well to shrug the tackle and send it to the top of the goal square. Under it though, and marking well back there for the Lions is Payne. He's been fantastic, Jack Payne.
There's been a Max Payne for the Giants in defence.
He has. Major Payne. Remember that movie? It was a beauty. He's all over Jesse Hogan at the moment. Good mark by Payne, deep in defence.
They come toward the outer side here, the Brisbane Lions. Rayner beaten to the football this time. Ash for the Giants. Hand pass this time. Halloran overruns it. Rayner gets a second go for the Brisbane Lions. Neil. And they can clear here through Wilmot on that left boot. Goes high towards a 2-on-1. Outnumbered down there. Was Dunkley, but the Giants take full advantage of that as well. Ash to Kelly. I thought Dunkley might have had a chance there, but Buckley can clear here for GWS. Out of the contest where it's Angwin v Wilmot, and now it's the loose man Kelly who can dump it clear. Back to the left half forward, off the chest of Hogan. Harris Andrews meets his demise when he runs straight into Toby Green, and the umpire will board up on the outer side. About 70 from the Giants' goal at the Cathedral end, but it's the Lions who lead by 19 points. 9-5 plays 6-4, approaching half-time.
Time ticking down before the half-time siren. 19 points the margin. That was the margin at quarter time. The Giants managed to work it back to 6 points. And Brent Daniels trying to get them inside 50, socketed it to himself, and the umpire says that was deliberate out of bounds.
If you're near the boundary and you soccer it to yourself, it goes forward 15-20. How is it deliberate?
Daniel Rich with his 11th disposal sends the line up the wing. Well done by Buckley to mark in that contest. Now the Giants can go. Finds Callaghan in the middle of Manuka Oval. Now Whitfield looking for Hogan. Well done by Payne again. Watched him every single step of the way on the lead and spoiled the ball superbly. He's having a fantastic game, is Jack Payne. Now McCarthy looking for it for Brisbane, and he gets it back on the outer wing.
McCarthy brings it away here for the Lions. Spears it up the line here. Taylor for the Giants. Out to meet the football now. He's got to contend with Hipwood. Brings it to ground. Support arrives, but it's not clear here for Rayner of Brisbane. On in turn here, Danaher out in space. Bailey running by. He kept going. McCluggage has a bounce 55 from goal. Goes inside the arc now. Swings it across the goal mouth. Out in space for Charlie Cameron. Who the rest here? Charlie. He's got a couple to beat now. He's brought to ground. Great chase and tackle it was out there by Callaghan. And the umpire balled up. So Finn Callaghan kept chasing Charlie Cameron. And the stoppage inside 50 here in Brisbane's attacking zone. But not sure why McCluggage didn't go himself.
He should have. He just popped it in the middle of nowhere.
Neil over around the ball here. O'Halloran ducked here by McCluggage. His hand pass only as far as Daniel Rich, and he loads up and goes out of bounds on the full. It's a Giants ball at right full back. It's Brisbane who leads though, 9-5-59 to 6-4-40. 19 points is the margin. 32 minutes having elapsed now in the second term.
Not sure there's enough time for one more Giants attack, but I won't want to turn the ball over because Iden has it in the back pocket. Jesse Hogan with a big leap. He timed his jump superbly. It's been a quiet game so far from Jesse Hogan, but that might lift his confidence. Big jump and mark on the wing. He does so moments before the halftime siren goes. The Lions are 9-5-59. The Giants are 6-4-40. And Brisbane just maintaining their quarter time advantage at the half.
So the goal kickers so far in this game, Charlie Cameron has 3. Also for Brisbane, singles to Gunston, Hipwood, Rayner, Danaher, McCarthy and Ashcroft. Meanwhile for the Giants, Xavier O'Halloran has 3, while Daniels, Cadman and Toby Green are also on the board. The Brisbane Lions by 19 points at halftime, just as it was at quarter time, the first change here at Manuka Oval. Keep your texts coming, 0437 774 774 on Grandstand AFL right throughout the evening. Earlier, Port Adelaide beat West Coast by 40 points. We'll get some reaction and bring that to you. Connor Rosie, who was best on ground, the Peter Badco medalist for a second time. That's coming up after news here at halftime. But firstly, the thoughts of our expert here at Manuka, Jason at Southington, your thoughts?
It's been a brilliant free-flowing game of football, highly entertaining. The ball's been flicking back and forward. Brisbane able to just extend their lead at the end of that quarter. I thought the Giants did a terrific job to get themselves back into it. With a lot of handball around the contest, I thought that was working for them as they were able to be nice and clean, handball their way through and get the ball inside 50. Seen Xavier O'Halloran's been brilliant, kicking 3 goals for the Giants, the unlikely hero. But then the Lions were able to steady late. Danaher with a brilliant long goal. And they've just probably won the battle at both ends of the field, like we mentioned at quarter time. Jackson Payne's been brilliant, outdoing Jesse Hogan in the Brisbane Lions defence. So the Lions, 19-point lead. It's been a pretty even sort of game of footy, but it's the Lions by 19, and they just got that nice little extra touch of class, I think, at the moment, that's just allowing them to have that lead.
I'll look at a few numbers after the news coming up as well, but Josh Kelly has got 22 touches for the Giants, Steve Cornelio 19, Josh Dunkley leads the Brisbane Lions with 14 there as well.
9 of those contested. McCluggage 13. He's been a bit quiet on the possession front so far this season. He's having a good afternoon. 6 inside 50s for Hugh McCluggage as well. The man to speak about, though, from the first half has been Jack Payne, because Jesse Hogan has just the 3 disposals and 3 marks, one of them a fantastic grab on the halftime siren. But Jack Payne has been all over him so far, and that has thwarted a lot of GWS attacks, hasn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. He's taken 6 marks himself. I do feel a couple of times with Jesse Hogan, though, the ball's just been kicked slightly over his head, which has given Payne a nice little chance. But, you know, when you're on, and those things go your way. He's certainly been rock solid down there, and he's been one of the key reasons why the Lions have been able to have this nice lead going into half-time, even though the Giants have won the possession count quite comfortably. We're at 206, 163, so plenty of ball going forward. But Jack Payne, he's been brilliant.
You mentioned the fast clearance as well from the Giants at times, despite the fact they are down in this second term.
Yeah, and I was expecting the Lions midfield to probably be a bit too strong for the Giants, but I'd say through the first half, the Giants have been excellent through there. I think Matty Flynn has been terrific in the ruck. He's winning the hit-outs, and the last few centre bounces with Toby Green in there, the Giants were getting forward and they were winning it, and they were getting out the front of the stoppage real quick. You know, we've seen the possessions. Kelly's had 22 at half-time and Cornelio 19, so their midfielders are getting plenty of footy. It's just that going inside 50, if they can take some marks, they might give themselves a chance. Just
on the McCluggage here, who brought the ball inside 50 and kicked to no man's land. It's almost like you could see Cameron lurking, Charlie Cameron, thinking, McCluggage is thinking, well, he can do anything, can't he, Charlie? I'll put it out wide and he can do the rest. Of course, on that occasion, it was run down by Finn Callaghan. But it probably speaks to the fact, untidy kick by and large, but the fact that his teammates probably thinking, well, I can just put it out there and Charlie with the rest of it.
Yeah, if it was anyone else down there, McCluggage probably has a shot on goal, but he sees Charlie Cameron and he sees a bit of space in front of him. So he goes, I'll just pop it out in front of him and probably give him as much room as possible. But Callaghan was clever enough to come from the centre of the ground and intercept, or at least try and get in there and intercept, and laid a terrific tackle, because if you're chasing Charlie Cameron and you can manage to catch him and stick the tackle, you've done a good job.
Danaher's the other one as well for the Brisbane Lions. He is a confidence player, and he's been sort of through his time, especially at Brisbane, and probably right throughout his career, to be honest, as well, even going back to, I guess, carrying that famous family name at Essendon as being a hot and cold player. But he is in a good run of form. He kicked those 5 goals last week. What did you see from Joe, particularly late in that first half?
I thought he's been pretty good. He's taken a couple of strong marks, and he's been influential in some of their goals. He kicked that lovely goal himself from 55, 60 metres out. It's tough as a key forward sometimes. Everyone expects them to dominate and take a heap of marks and kick a heap of goals. In the modern game, it's tough to be that sort of player, and I think he's doing a really good job again tonight.
The other angle on Danaher is that he doesn't actually need to post massive numbers for Brisbane to win games, because they have so many contributors down forward. There's Hipwood, of course, but Rayner, who we've seen already, kicks his fair share. Obviously, Charlie Cameron, arguably the best small forward in the competition. And you've got others like Lincoln McCarthy, who often bobs up for a couple. Gunston, who they've now recruited. And the midfielders often kick goals. McCluggage is another one who finds the majors regularly. So he doesn't need to post 65, 70 goals a season for the Lions to win the flag, for example.
No, and you probably don't want him to, because if he is, you're too one-dimensional. And you know, like you've mentioned, they've got a million different options that they can use coming inside 50, or all dangerous players. So if they can have variety, it's too hard for an oppo to defend. So I think Joe Danaher plays his role really, really well. He gets up the field, he takes marks, but he also gets back inside 50 and gets his shots on goal too. So I think he's been terrific through that first half, and I think he's doing a terrific job this year.
The thoughts of Jason Saddington on Grandstand AFL here at Manuka Oval in Canberra, where the night sky is now very dark, and the second half will be upon us before you know it. The Brisbane Lions lead by 19 points at half-time, 9-5-59 to Greater Western Sydney, 6-4-40. Some reaction from the Port Rooms coming up next after their 40-point win over the West Coast Eagles, but right now it's time for us to head to the ABC newsroom.
Hello, this is ABC News with David Rowlands. Home Affairs Minister Claire O'Neil says a sweeping liberalisation of citizenship laws for New Zealanders ensures the strong friendship with Australia's neighbour is properly reflected in writing. The changes will provide a direct path to citizenship for around 350,000 Kiwis who have lived in Australia for at least 4 years. It partly reverses changes the Howard government made in 2001, which allowed New Zealanders in Australia to continue living here, but restricted their access to welfare. Ms O'Neil says the previous laws had many negative impacts.
We had, young people living in Australia who were not able to access a university education, even though they'd lived their whole lives here in Australia because they were technically Kiwis. We've had instances where women have been unable to leave relationships of domestic violence because they don't have access to social supports.
The search is continuing for the mother of an abandoned baby in Sydney's West, with concerns for the mother's welfare. Police say the baby girl was no more than 3 hours old when she was left naked in the backyard of a Blacktown home yesterday. Police say the mother didn't give birth in a hospital and is urging her to go to one. Neighbour Stuart Reid says it's a concerning situation.
I just feel sorry for the baby and something for the parents, and hope they find the mother, and hope she's okay, and hope everyone, it's a good outcome in the end.
A man charged with stealing firearms in WA's southwest has appeared in the Perth Magistrates Court. David Webber reports.
It's alleged that Justin James Coyne stole a Land Cruiser from a property in Quindalup before committing a home burglary in Kirrup on Thursday. It's alleged Mr Coyne stole 6 firearms and ammunition, televisions, power tools, security cameras and a coin collection. Police say when the homeowner arrived and disturbed Mr Coyne, he used the Land Cruiser to ram his vehicle. The 38-year-old was arrested in Geograph yesterday and has been charged with 9 offences. Mr Coyne appeared in Perth Magistrates Court this morning via video link and is scheduled to appear in Bunbury Court on May the 22nd. There was no application for bail.
The team that discovered the ship at the heart of Australia's worst maritime disaster says it was a moment of mixed emotions. The Japanese transport ship SS Montevideo Maru sank with nearly 1,000 Australian troops and civilians in July 1942 off the coast of the Philippines. The location has been a mystery for decades, but it's now been found after 12 days of searching in the South China Sea at a depth of more than 4,000 metres. Silent World Foundation Director John Mullen says while the discovery was remarkable, it was also sombre.
But it's mixed emotions too, because we're looking at the graveside of over 1,000 people. It's one of the greatest untold stories of Australia's wartime past. Extraordinarily significant for the families and descendants, none of whom have forgotten.
A new advertising campaign is urging Russian men to join the military. A Defence Ministry video calls on them to be a man and give up their civilian jobs in favour of a contract with the military. It promises wages 4 times the Russian average. It comes as Russia struggles to make military progress more than a year after launching its invasion of Ukraine. Women in the United States will continue to have access to an abortion pill for the time being, following a decision by the US Supreme Court. More on this story from the BBC's Jessica Parker in Washington.
Hours before a self-imposed deadline was set to expire, the Supreme Court issued its order. There would, for now, be no new limits on mifepristone, while a wider case plays out in a lower court. The pill forms part of a 2-drug regimen that makes up more than half of abortions in the US. It's been in use for more than 20 years, but anti-abortion groups had contested its approval. The ongoing legal battle is seen as the most significant case of its kind since Roe v. Wade was overturned last year, which opened the door for individual states to ban or curtail abortion.
In sport, 11-time world surfing champion Kelly Slater has been eliminated from the Margaret River Pro in WA and cut from the championship tour. He was beaten by Australian Liam O'Brien in the round of 32 heat at main break. It means he hasn't made the mid-season cut and can no longer compete on the championship tour. The 51-year-old American could now compete on the second-tier Challenger Series or opt to retire. He's widely regarded as the greatest surfer of all time, winning his first world title at the age of 20 in 1992. This is ABC News.
For extreme entertainment, stream comedy whenever you like on ABC iView. That's so cool. Extreme feel-goods with Ghosts, Ronnie Cheng International Student and Summer Love.
Never hold back, kids.
Extreme funnies from the Melbourne International Comedy Festival.
That means a lot.
And extreme good times with Starstruck, Peep Show and Fisk.
Why would you say that?
Yeah, I don't know. It's Extreme Comedy Gold.
So cool.
And you can stream it all for free on ABC iView.
Grandstand AFL.
Now streaming every match on the ABC Listen app.
Look for the AFL button.
Kicks from 50, O'Halloran. Breeze brings it back. That is his second.
Just all of last season, Brent Daniels, 6 goals in this campaign. The Giants rate him highly. That's why they've persisted with him. And he rewards them, in this instance, with a goal, an important one. Brent Daniels first of the afternoon, but the margin back to 1 major.
Danaher wheels around that preferred left peg. Deep ball inside forward 50. At the back, he's dangerous. Charlie Cameron onto the football and snaps from close range. With a check side finish. And Cameron has his third. He is just far too dangerous lurking down there.
Lilio is held up. Sends it inside 50 now. Big leap from Toby Green. He's marked it on the second attempt. 14 goals for the season. Equal third in the Coleman. Just manages to sneak it through. The Giants skipper brings the margin back to a goal.
Handball out in space. Haynes over around the ball. Gunston kicks through traffic. Tumbles it through on the bounce. Good vision from the veteran.
Slap forward, picked up by Ward. Now O'Halloran. Can he kick his third for the afternoon? You bet he can. Xavier O'Halloran having a day out. He has 3. Picked 3 goals in the Lions win here last season, and he's on the board in this game, Cameron Rayner.
The 2023 AFL season.
On radio,
ABC Sport Digital.
And now streaming on the ABC Listen app.
The Brisbane Lions lead by 19 points here in Canberra. Brett Sprague alongside Daniel Garb and Jason Saddington, your commentary team. Adam Shirley on the boundary. Of course, we are live via ABC Radio, News Radio, and the world-famous ABC Listen app. 19 points here. Coming up later on, Geelong-Sydney in a meeting of last year's grand finalists as the Cats unveil their premiership flag at Kardinia Park. We'll preview that one a little later on. Earlier at Adelaide Oval, Port Adelaide beat West Coast 16-1309 to 10-9-69. Connor Rosie had 29 disposals and kicked 2 goals. He was, for the second time in their Anzac appeal round, the Peter Badco VC medalist, and he spoke in the Port Rooms with our own Jack Buchater.
Well, he's earned back-to-back Badco medals. Connor Rosie, congratulations. Well played. What did you make of that performance?
Yeah, it was a warm one. Bit of a tough day out, especially in that last quarter to get over the line there. But, we'll take 4 points every day of the week. Probably not as easy as we would have liked. We didn't have everything go away. They had a few run-ons, but you can't be unhappy when you come away with a win.
Back-to-back Badco medals for you. What does that mean?
Yeah, fair bit. It's a pretty special day, not only for me, but our whole club. We've had, I think, over 130 or 140 people that have served in war, so it's a pretty special day for our football club. So to play well on days like today, it means a lot to me and my family.
You had a phenomenal end to the season personally last year, just slowly building again this year. What are you making of your form?
Yeah, I guess there's a few different challenges that come with coming off a decent year. You get a little bit more attention, so I'm working through some different things, but it's always nice to see the other boys step up, and we had a lot of great performances today. It wasn't just me. There was a lot of great performances, boys that have stepped up that haven't played as many minutes before. Ollie Lord making his debut, Bryn Teakle coming back in. So there's a lot of positives to take out of today.
We do have the debutant Ollie Lord standing next to you. What did you make of his first game in AFL footy?
Yeah, I thought he was awesome. He's a very competitive man, so we know what we're going to get from him. Great contests. When the ball's in the air, he rarely gets beaten, and he tries his guts out, which is just about all you can ask for from a key forward. So I think he'll have a long future at our footy club.
And I'd just like to get your thoughts on Willem Drew. Last week did the team job shutting down Marcus Bontempelli. Today goes out there, gets 20-odd possessions, leads the tackle count. How versatile is he to your midfield group?
He's a man that lets everyone else go to work, I guess. I think if you ask pretty much everyone in our football club, they'd say that Willem Drew is probably their favourite teammate. He does all the little things that make everyone else better that probably don't get seen on TV a hell of a lot. So it's great to see him get a bit more of the limelight, I guess, and I think people are starting to value him a fair bit more from the outside, but we've always seen him as a special player inside our football club and extremely important.
Well, Connor Rosie, 29 touches, a couple of goals, 8 inside 50s. Well done, and good luck against St Kilda next week.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me. Cheers.
Yeah, Port, a 40-point win over the West Coast Eagles there at Adelaide Oval, and that puts them for now into the top 4. Of course, there is still most of the round to come. Anzac Appeal round 6. I was trying to think where I'd seen the name Peter Badcoe today, and I come to think of it, on the drive into Canberra, all of the rest stops are named after Victoria Cross recipients. So I thought it was just appropriate on Anzac Appeal round, and of course that award being given today in Adelaide that was worth a mention. I drove down Anzac Parade, of course, all the monuments are there as well on the way in, so it's quite appropriate on this weekend of all weekends, of course, as we build up to that day of reflection on Tuesday. Looking elsewhere, in the VFL, these two sides played earlier at Blacktown. Brisbane won that by 83 points. In the NRL, the Sharks lead the Bulldogs late in the first half, 18 points to 8. A-League men, halftime Newcastle and Central Coast in the F3 Derby. It's 1-1 there. A-League women preliminary final full-time, Sydney FC beat Melbourne Victory 1-0 with the goal to Madison Haley. And in the Live Golf, which is of course going gangbusters at the Grange in South Australia, Taylor Gooch leads after the second round by 10 shots from Charles Schwartzel and Pat Perez. Also in that same group, Abraham Ansah, Brooks Koepka, Louis Oosthuizen and Cameron Tringali in that share of second, and Cameron Smith 1 shot further back there at -9 after those 2 rounds.
10-shot lead after 10 rounds is enormous. Taylor Gooch setting Adelaide alight.
There we go. So, of course, for information across all your sport, abc.net.au/sport. In the meantime here, the Brisbane Lions lead the Greater Western Sydney Giants by 19 points, 9-5-59, plays 6-4-40. Jason Saddington. The Giants have fought back at different stages. They came back within a goal at a couple of different times in that second term. What do they have to do? Brisbane are a tough outfit. We know that it'll be a cut above for the Giants to beat them. But what do they have to do in this second half?
Not a lot different, to be perfectly honest. I think it's just that going inside 50. They need to be able to find a way to hit Hogan or hit Himmelberg and get some marks and set shots on goal. Every time they are scoring, it's a bit of a challenge. O'Halloran's been the one that's been able to pop up and kick 3. But they just need to be able to get a better connection and get a mark inside 50. Toby Green, probably hasn't seen a lot of the footy or set shots himself. So they're winning the ball well around the contest. They're actually beating the Brisbane midfield. Kelly and Canilio have been outstanding. Flynn's winning the ruck work. Their hands have been really good, so if they can maintain their clean ball use, they just need to be able to hit some targets going inside 50. And for this quarter, probably just hold on and head into the last, within a sniff, and then put the pressure on.
0437 774 774 is the SMS number. Lions fan listening here from a sunny morning in Dresden. Great call, loving Charlie, go the Lions. Alex, I assume that's Dresden in Germany? That's right, isn't it? Anyway, you're the other well-travelled man, aren't you, Garby? In Dresden. There we go.
I went quiet. I had no idea.
19 points, the Lions lead here. Here's the second half underway at Manuka Oval. Here's Daniel Garb.
It is Brisbane by 19. The Giants looking to end a 7-game losing streak here in the nation's capital. It is now dark above. The lights lighting up this ground. It's beautiful ground to watch football at. And that once again is populated superbly by the locals. Ball in dispute in the middle of the ground to start the third quarter. The Giants have fought back on one occasion to bring a 19-point margin back to 6, but Brisbane extended it again. They go inside 50 through Zorko. Taylor and Danaher looking for it. It's worked forward to Charlie Cameron. Handball over the top to Gunston. And that is a goal from 2 metres out, as easy as you like. Charlie Cameron could have kicked his fourth. Unselfishly gave it to Jack Gunston in the goal square. And Gunston has 2 to his name. And the margin is 25 points early on in the third quarter.
Well, I'm not sure if it was Danaher with the elite quick hands just off the ground to get it out in the first instance. Just have a look here on the replay. I think it is Danaher. Goes up for the contest, beaten by Taylor. No, it was Rayner. Elite hands to get out, and then across to Charlie Cameron. An easy goal in the end. Sorry, Gunston, was it? In the end. But it was just the hands from Rayner. It was unbelievable through there.
So 25 points, a game-high lead. Early stages in the second half. Can the Giants respond? That's the question. We'll check in downstairs shortly as well, just for an update on conditions, because it does appear much cooler as well as we've hit night time here in Canberra. Flynn competes against McInerney, and now Cornelio leaves a path for Perryman. Handball back to Callahan, and now Whitfield can just send it on the 45 towards Peatling, just forward of halfway. From the outer side of Manuka Rival, kicks scoreboard side, inside forward 50. Himmelberg leads out and takes the chest mark. Deep in the right forward pocket, 35 metres out.
It was a great kick from Peatling, just enough to the advantage of Himmelberg, who was smart enough then to cover up the ball and angle his body so he could take a nice chest mark with his opponent right behind him. But it was a really good kick from Peatling and a nice smart mark from Himmelberg. That's what we said they needed, to be able to take some marks forward and get some shots on goal. He's on an angle, so it's a tough kick, but he has been the man of the moment.
Just the one kick so far from his 8 disposals tonight. He was certainly influential last week. The most influential, Himmelberg. He kicks here and misses near side for a minor score. The Giants 6-5-41. The Brisbane Lions 10-5-65. 3 minutes played now in the third term.
There's been some talk, Sado, about the best forward lines in the competition. Adelaide have been nominated by many with Walker, Fogarty, Rochelle, Rankin. I might have forgotten about Brisbane. All the quality they've got down there. Cameron and Rayner, Danaher and Hipwood, McCarthy, who of course plays his role. As Rich shares it with Ashcroft, the 1-2, and the Lions, get out of defensive 50 rather easily. Rayner's having an excellent game. Gives it to McKenna, who kicks Brisbane deep into attack again, and there is Cameron. He's marked it in the pocket. 3 goals to his name. He'll snap this one from 15 metres, looking for his fourth. And how quickly did Brisbane get that ball forward?
Yeah, and if you give them the time and the space and allow them to handball forward and through the contests to free players who are out in the run, it's very hard to stop. You spoke about their forward line a second ago. Cameron, if he's getting some space, it's tough.
Left foot snap from Charlie Cameron. Sails through the middle. He turns and maybe gives it to the crowd who gave him a piece of their mind. Charlie Cameron has 4, including a goal of the year contender. He is having a fantastic outing here in Canberra, and all of a sudden it is 30 points, the margin in favour of Brisbane.
And the perfect start from the Lions to just extend the lead out now, 30 points. It's exactly what they would have wanted. They've had some nice, clean, crisp ball movement, some terrific hands. Rayner involved now in both goals. And again, Charlie Cameron, if he's got 2 metres of space, that's enough for him to do some damage, and that's all he had on Connor Iden. It was a beautiful kick that went in. Cameron, if he's going to get a shot on goal, whether it's on the run, or him bouncing in for him to just flick off his shin, or a set shot like that one, he's going to kick it.
8 goals in the space of 2 weeks, and still half of this game to go. Dunkley's hand pass back to McInerney. The big ruckman was clear inside 50, but it's going to come back here for that untoward contact on Dunkley. Fringed upon by Toby Green.
The Giants, the last few weeks, their third quarters have been their real problem, and this one hasn't started great for them either.
Daniel Rich drives it long off that left boot inside forward 50 through the fingertips of Haynes. Pressure here on Buckley. Haynes regathers though. Whitfield handball on the bounce to Callahan. Works it back by hand to Taylor, and now Perryman on the last line. Looks for a way through. He chips over the top to find Buckley. And Jack Buckley here in the left back pocket for the Giants. trying to stem this flow. Early second half goal to the Brisbane Lions. Short chip pass to Cumming.
Been shell-shocked a little bit, GWS, early stages of this third quarter. 19-point margin out to 30. Up the wing they go, punched away from Kelly by Harris Andrews. Whitfield's able to gather though, gives it to Cornelio. Possession 21 for him. This is better from GWS. Now Josh Kelly, his disposal isn't great as they enter attacking 50. Himmelberg though wraps up his opponent and he's caught him holding the ball. So Harry Himmelberg can have a shot from directly in front, 50 metres out. It was Darragh Joyce who just failed to dispose of the football when he had prior opportunity. Excellent tackle from Himmelberg, and the Giants need this one badly.
It's unusual to see a Josh Kelly kick not be an effective kick coming inside 50. It actually went majorly to the advantage of Joyce. He did slip over and fall on the ball there, and Himmelberg was quick to pounce and make sure that that ball didn't get out, wrapped it up himself to make sure it didn't slip out, and the umpire was right there to call the free kick, holding the ball.
Harry Himmelberg rarely goes a game without a goal. He kicks this one from just outside 50 in search of his first of the night. It's hit the post. Margin 29 points. GWS 6-6-42. The Lions 11-5-71.
Daniel Rich, in his 372nd AFL game, he's the most experienced Lion. Little 1-2 from the kick out. And by foot, he spreads it wide to Harris Andrews. Now a co-captain with Lockie Neal. And that scoreboard part of the ground. The line for Starcevic. They slow things down here, the Brisbane Lions. Starcevic goes searching up the outer side by foot into a 2-on-2. Spoil from behind Buckley at the drop. Handball came away from Finn Callaghan. Peatling. It's it back to Callaghan. This time a kick. Tumbling ball towards half forward. Leaping up Himmelberg. Wins it to ground there. She has it by hand to Daniels. Going inside 50 on his lead of Toby Green, who marks in front of the scoreboard now. 45 outs. And he's in the right forward pocket. So a tough angle here for Toby.
Even though the Lions have kicked the first couple, the Giants don't look like they've changed the way they're trying to play. They're still trying to move it quick from stoppage, still trying to get hands, surge, kick the ball forward, not take the pace out of the game. They're still looking to score.
Helps himself to a few chairs the photographers use down there. That's always entertaining to see players do that, just to sort of fix up their line. It's also a whole case of drinks run by one of the water carriers down there. He goes to set shot, the drop punt from the pocket. Toby Grew, that's absolutely superb, and that's his second. Into the captain's goal, the GWS Giants. They close the gap back to 23 points. Go to Western Sydney, a 7-6-48. Brisbane 11-5-71. 8.5 played, third term grandstand AFL. Jason Saddington.
Was it first or second quarter? It might have been early in the second. Toby kicked a goal that the Giants was much needed for them, and he's done it here again. It was a tough kick from the pocket. I mean, he couldn't have been any tougher. Trying to, as he called, throw the chairs out of the way. There was a photographer there. He was not too happy. He wanted some more space and decided, well, I've got to go back and kick a drop punt here. I don't have any other choice. And went straight through the middle. So a fantastic captain's goal from Toby to just steady the ship, hopefully for the Giants, for their sake, and keep them now back within touch of the Lions.
Just a freak, isn't he?
He is.
I mean, there aren't many in the competition that can do that. Moving chairs, restricted run-up. I better go the drop punt from that angle and just guide it through.
Well, he had a shorter run-up than he wanted because he couldn't go back any further.
Margin back to 23 points. The Giants needed that one. And it's picked up by Cornelio. Quick handball to Lockie Ash. He's watched closely, though, by Bailey. Ashcroft gets to the bottom of the pack. He's tackled by Perryman. Another ball up in the middle of Manuka Oval. GWS desperate to end a 7-game losing streak at this venue. They've got a lot of work to do, though. They win it in the middle of the ground. Kick out to the wing. It bounces in front of Cadman, but he lost possession, the number 1 draft pick, in front of Joyce. Tried to turn before he had the ball in his hands. It spilled out. We'll have a boundary throw in.
He got very excited. He's like, I've got this ball. I can kick it inside 50, but forgot to take it before he turned.
Lions by 23. Back in it comes. Shallow throw in. Flynn gets there eventually. Taking it with McInerney, and now Halloran tries to clear. Goes straight here to Wilmot. Nice sell of the candy, and now just thumps it up the commentary side. Out to Watsu on one. Underneath it was Taylor. Out the back, Ashrop wrapped up. Now Kelly can swing it around here for the Giants. It's marked by Callaghan on the last line here for GWS. Looks for a way through. Comes back western side of the ground. Anglin, it's his second AFL game. The late in for the Giants. Iden steadies and kicks to find Buckley. Thought about ceding some ground to go back inside 50, but comes up the line now for Whitfield. It's a slow build up here for GWS. Iden, swooping hand pass to Cornelio. On in turn here to Ash. From the centre circles, draws the player, works it back into Callaghan. He can load up to go inside 50, gets around Coleman. 52 out, goes towards that one on one. Getting the sit down there was Cadman, but he put his hands right into the back of Dara Joyce to give away the free kick here for the Brisbane Lions at fullback. It's they who lead by 23 points, the visitors. 11-5 plays 7-6.
I love it. I reckon his eyes lit up again. And Cadman, he thought, I can take a screamer here.
Should have had a shot there, Callaghan.
Would have.
Well, his boot, 50 out. Got the distance, decided to spot up a teammate instead. The Giants win it back though at half forward. Here's Josh Kelly. He's had plenty of it. On his right, goes to the pocket. Cadman does well to work his way to the front. Off hands, ball still in dispute. Picked up by Whitfield. O'Halloran is tackled by Zach Bailey, the two number 33s. And Bailey in his 100th game has caught O'Halloran, who has 3 goals to his name this afternoon, holding the ball, and the Lions connects at defensive 50.
Berry to Danaher. This time he beat Taylor. It's a rare loss for Sam Taylor in the contest. Kicks untidy though. It's bounced off the chest of Bailey. Worked away here by the Giants. Untidy hand pass. So Halloran goes to retrieve it now. Wrapped up by Starcevic. 52 out. Down to the boundary. Adam Shirley.
A bit close eye on Sam Taylor. So influential in the back line for the Giants. But as soon as he raced to that contest, just 10 seconds ago, he's put a hand up to the bench and he's walking over. I'm not sure whether it's a hamstring or a calf complaint, but keep a close eye on him.
This looks like a serious blow for GWS. Taylor is limping off the ground. He's in the middle of Manuka Oval at the moment. The ball isn't too far away from him. It's bouncing around on the outer wing. Socket forward by Danaher. Now Hipwood sockets it forward again. It clean bowls Gunston. Still might stay in for him though. It doesn't. It runs over the boundary line in the forward pocket for Brisbane. But the big story here is the injury to Sam Taylor. The All-Australian fullback has been superb again tonight. He looks downcast as you can imagine. And his night might be done for, and this would be a big injury blow for GWS.
Brisbane leads by 23. Third term here, midway through it. Comes to McCluggage from the stoppage. Fires on goal here with a high snap toward the line. And Iden guides it over for a throw-in. Adam Shirley on the boundary.
Just on Sam Taylor, he's just come up the race, shaking his head, looks really disconsolate. I think he knows that looks to be a right hamstring at early instance, but we'll check it out.
Yeah, it is not welcome news for the Giants.
Huge blow.
Very important player for them. And back in it comes inside 50 here for the Brisbane Lions. Haynes first receiver. Off here to Cornelio. Shrugs the tackle of Charlie Cameron. The umpire says, in the ball. Didn't shrug it well enough. So Charlie's tackle rewarded, and he's going to line up here for goal number 5, only midway through the third term.
Oh, he's having a huge impact, Charlie Cameron. But going back to the Sam Taylor injury, well, that's just going to leave a huge hole in the Giants' defence. I think Himmelberg has now gone back by the looks of things. He's the one that's come on his head back there. With Phil Davis is out injured still, or again, it's not an injury they could afford to have, the Giants.
Charlie Cameron makes good for 5. We took these country roads to Canberra, where Charlie Cameron has 5 goals midway through the third term. 12-5-77 the Brisbane Lions. GWS is 7-6-48. 14 and a half played third term here at Manuka Oval on Grandstand AFL.
Oh, it was actually quite clever from Charlie Cameron. Cornelio did shrug the tackle off and was actually got himself free and was ready to handball the ball off, and Cameron just stuck a hand up and just tapped it out of Cornelio's hand while he was on the ground. It was enough for the umpire to pay holding the ball. He's having some game of football. He's kicking goals from all types of ways, taking marks, off the shin like we've spoken about. That one's from a tackle, pressure, forward acts. He's having some game of football.
By the way, he's levelled Charlie Curnow now for second in the Coleman, so he's now 4 goals behind Jeremy Cameron. Of course, he plays tonight at Kenya Park. Jeremy Cameron against the Swans. That's coming up. We'll preview that shortly.
18 goals for the season for Charlie, 5 in this game, a 4-time leading goal kicker for Brisbane. He's spearheading them to a victory in Canberra at the moment, but still plenty of time left in this one. Lincoln McCarthy at centre-half forward with a high ball, well done by Cam Rayner. Watched it closely and marked it, sliding on his knees, looks for a target in the pocket. In Cameron, he's got it. Why not go to him? Over and over again. He'll snap one from 30 out, looking for his 6th. To try and extend this margin to 6 goals.
Well, just the again the injury to Taylor. This is what it's going to do the Giants. Sorry, I'll stop here.
Cameron on the snap. He's got 6. A big haul for Charlie Cameron. What a superstar of the competition he is. What a match winner. And he's doing just that. His 6 goals, the difference margin-wise, 35 points to lead for Brisbane, 13-5-83, GWS 7-6-48, and no one is close to Charlie Cameron for best on ground at the moment.
No, not even close. He's been elite, absolutely elite, and he's blown this game away here in the third quarter to a point where, you know, you can see Himmelberg's had to go back now, so it takes away from their forward line. It's like a double blow for the Giants. So for them to be able to stop some goals without Taylor is harder, and for them to be able to kick goals to get back into this game is now harder with Himmelberg not there either.
Down to Adam Shirley.
Yeah, Adam Kennedy's got the substitute shirt off. He's been activated as the Giant substitute, and there is ice being strapped on the right hamstring of Sam Taylor as we speak.
Of course, Charlie Cameron kicked 6 goals a couple of weeks ago against the Pies, so I think that's the 4th time now in his career he's kicked 6 goals. So it's an equal career best, and the 2nd time in 3 weeks. Free kick out of the clearance, or out of the restart, going the way of McCarthy and the Lions. Margin 35, a game high for Brisbane. McCarthy dummies his way around Toby Green. High wobbly ball inside 50 for the Lions. Buckley into the back of Danaher. Umpire says play on Bailey through traffic. Throws it on the boot. And it's through for a goal. Squeeze it through a pack, Zach Bailey. In his 100th game, he is on the board here to extend the Brisbane Lions lead to 41 points. 14-5-89 for the Giants, who are 7-6-48.
So numerous times last season, Mark McVeigh, the interim Giants coach, said, I'd hate to think what the score would be without Sam Taylor. He's now gone off the ground, and the Brisbane Lions have kicked 3 goals in quick succession since he's been absent. That's the difference he makes. Not all about him, of course, but it just gives you a little insight into the way he marshals that back line.
Yeah, and what's happening now too is the Lions are just winning all the ground ball at every contest, even out of the middle. We spoke in the first half, the Giants have been pretty good around centre bounce, but so far this term it's the Lions winning centre bounce, and when the ball's going inside 50 at ground level, they're starting to win the footy as well.
The Lions have blown this game open, 41 points the margin, and perhaps sending a message in terms of just how strong their flag credentials are. And they've won it again in the middle of the ground. They smell blood, Brisbane. They work it out wide to Jared Berry. And now does Zorko on a lead. He'll go short again. There are Brisbane players free everywhere. He finds Dunkley. Can Charlie get near this one? Dunkley goes deep into attack. McCarthy leaps. It'll fall to the back. Looking for it is Wilmot. Wants a teammate. Darts around one would-be tackler and just centres it off the hands of Hipwood. Toby Green's back there doing some desperate defensive work for GWS. That's how dire their situation is at the moment. He gets it to Rouston, but there is no one in attack for GWS. So Brisbane win it back quickly. Coleman into Berry. Sweeping handball back to Coleman. Over the top looking for a teammate. Well blocked by Cumming. And now the Giants can finally breathe after wave after wave after wave of attack from Brisbane. Their lead is 41 points.
Yeah, they're trying to find a way to stop and reset here. The Giants, as you mentioned, Toby Green winning the ball in the back pocket. They're just a bit all over the shop, trying to stem the flow here of the Lions.
5 goals to 1 this quarter. Thrown up. Out to reach for it there, Callaghan. Only as far as Daniel Rich, who just puts it back inside 50 for the Brisbane Lions. Bouncing across the goal mouth. Race on foot there. McCarthy beats Iden to the boundary line. It's out of bounds for a throw-in. 35 around from the Brisbane goal at the cathedral end of Manuka Oval. We're about to hit time on here in the third term. Brisbane 14-5-89. The Giants are 7-6-48.
Hipwood front of Flynn. Flynn does well though with his bigger body to work Hipwood off the ball and send it up to the wing. Excellent smother by Toby Green from Danaher. Can the Giants get one back here? Green just snaps it just outside 50 for Cadman. Does well to tap it away from Harris Andrews, the youngster. But Andrews, with all his experience, wins it back. Brent Daniels, though, robs him of it, snaps on goal and kicks one. Something out of nothing for the Giants. Daniels has two. They needed that badly. Margin back to 35 points, and Brent Daniels just robbed Harris Andrews of the footy and converted.
It's definitely against the run of the play too, so much needed by the Giants. Toby Green, very influential in that, a great smother, and then a clever kick, because he had nothing ahead of the ball. The Lions defence were first to move in all spots he was going to go to, so he just pulled it across his body. You could see Cadman out wide, maybe had a tiny bit of space, and it was their only way to probably go forward. It was enough for Cadman to then put the pressure on Andrews, and then Brent Daniels got across to help and just plucked it out of his hand. Opportunistic little fella, and on the left boot, a lovely finish from him. So Toby Green influential in that one, but a big goal for the Giants against the play, as the Lions looked like they were really starting to smell blood and go for the kill.
The voice of Jason Saddington on Grandstand AFL. Kelly clears here for the Giants. High ball towards half forward. Coleman underneath it here for the Brisbane Lions. Knocked out in space. Perryman on the toe, goes inside 50. Green wrapped up by Starcevic, impedes him. Wilmot tries to clear along the deck now. McKenna, the Irishman, can off a step. It's a neat ball by foot to Danaher, who marks it centre half back. On the back edge of the square. Call to play on now. Swings it out towards the western side, only as far as O'Halloran. So it's turned over. The Giants go back on the overlap.
Halloran into the middle of Monaco Oval for Cornelio, but well done by Danaher to read that. And now send it long into attack for Brisbane. Iden's in front of Gunston. Does well, Connor Iden. Brisbane had one-on-one situations everywhere there, but Iden won his contest with Gunston. Sends it up the wing, Cadman looking for it. Harris Andrews, though, says to the second gamer, you've still got a little bit to learn, despite being very talented, and worked him under the football, took the mark, and was able to slow things down with the ball inside to Connor McKenna.
22 gone, third term. Brisbane Lions by 35 points here. Ashcroft receives it, swings it wide again to Dara Joyce. The former Saint, who turns 26 tomorrow in County Kilkenny. It's high towards half forward, out to a 3-on-2. Hetwood in from the side, wrapped up by Hendelberg, and the umpire balled up just inside the arc here at Brisbane's attacking end. 23 gone, quarter number 3, and it is the Brisbane Lions in control by 35 points.
Yeah, they're in control, just still winning so much more ground ball than the Giants.
There's Cornelio, soccers it out of defensive 50 for the Giants, coming out to meet at his pain. He's been wonderful. High tackle on him by Brent Daniels. And Jack Payne. Daniels has come off worse for wear after that. Has it just forward of the wing for Brisbane, goes short to Zorko. Possession number 10 coming up for him, just chips it up looking for Lachie Neale, the 2020 Brownlow medalist. Possession number 13 for Lachie Neale is just a guided ball inside 50 off the hands of Hipwood. Rayner couldn't collect. Dunkley tried to get it, well done by Himmelberg to gather it at ground level, and now Rouston sends it out of defensive 50. But Harris Andrews, like a sweeper back there, watched it all the way into his arms, and Brisbane will go again.
Chips to find the former skipper in Zorko. So slow things down for a second here, the Brisbane Lions. Zorko, it's a weighted kick, comes wide here. Back to Payne, going inside forward 50. Deep to the pocket, Himmelberg in the contest. Down there with McCarthy. Iden on the deck in defence as well. Coming back to Himmelberg. He can clear by a foot. Ward under pressure. Beats Starcevic through the air. Gets it back now. Little 1-2 by hand with Cornelio. Comes across the half back line. Daniels in space. Marks. Wheels and goes now. Kicks around the corner. Out all by himself on the wing is Cadman. Last year's number 1 pick in his second AFL game. Comes to find Toby Green, who marks a long way from home, 65 out, which will test his distance. They're streaming forward in the orange and charcoal jumpers, and he goes further on to find Daniels in the pocket. Does a nice bit of waxing there with the 2 small forwards. Green to Daniels, and Daniels does oblige and marks 25 out deep in the left forward pocket.
Adam Kingsley will be pumped with Brent Daniels' involvement there in that bit of play. He got the ball pretty much at defensive 50 as a forward that's pushed up to help out and help him with an exit, and then to push forward again and take the mark inside 50.
Opens up the angle here. Daniels, it was sunny in Canberra, but now it's stormy. He's got 3. The Brisbane Lions still lead though by 29 points. The Giants with that goal, 9-6-60. The Lions 14-5-89, 26 gone, third term here on Grandstand AFL.
A brilliant finish from Daniels too. He's kicked accurately tonight. He's been brilliant in that front half. But like I mentioned, his ability to push up the ground and help the Giants exit the ball from the back half, and then again push super hard forward to take the mark in the pocket. That's elite forward craft, and exactly what the coach would want from Brent Daniels playing that role. So he deserved that goal, and a wonderful finish.
How's Toby Green for his ability to turn a game? It looked like the Brisbane are going to blow this out to a 10-goal win. He kicks one from the boundary when he had no right to, and then sets up the last 2.
He's been huge.
All of a sudden, the Giants with a pulse. Harry Himmelberg wrapped up in the middle of the ground, caught holding the ball. Well done by Dunkley. He's been really good. Quick handball to Ashcroft. So Brisbane deep into attack. Charlie's there's Rayner as well. Big leap, couldn't mark it. It was almost a massive grab. Josh Kelly with a quick kick to exit defensive 50. Well done by Himmelberg to mark, and the Giants can go. Can they bring this margin back to inside 4 goals? Marked by Hogan. Jesse Hogan's had a quiet knife, and he'll have a shot from directly in front. It was a big mark by Himmelberg in the middle of the ground. And the Giants might kick 3 in a row.
Which is a huge response. Yeah, I mean, the Lions were all over him in the first part of this quarter. It looked like the game was going to get ugly. And they were playing in a way, the Lions, that they were ready to get the kill. The Giants haven't let up in the way they've played. They've still tried to move the ball quickly, and now they've roared back into it.
10 goals for the season for Jesse Hogan, looking for his first of the game. And that is another important one for GWS. 4 goals in a row for them. And the margin is back to 23 points. 10-6-66 GWS. Brisbane 14-5-89. Game on here in the capital. Let's go down to Adam Shirley on the boundary.
Yeah, and that Harry Himmelberg mark contest that led to that goal to Jesse Hogan. Callan Wardle's up too. Came down really hard, and he's not the type to stay down. He did for about 15 seconds, but he's gingerly, seemingly walking it off. Seemed like he tweaked an ankle in that marking contest, but looks to be okay for now.
We'll talk about it probably about 30 seconds earlier, Toby Green's influence to get the Giants somewhere back into this contest. He's the one that has lifted them. His pressure around the ball, his impact to put on some tackles, some smothers, and also hit the scoreboard himself. He's the one that's probably lifted them again and said, hey guys, let's not roll over here, let's get back into this game.
Restart back in the middle. It's going to be coming back here for a free kick for the block. It'll go the way of McCluggage, who in fact was being held. McCluggage through the corridor for the Lions. It needs a jumper down there. Crumbing at McCarthy. Couldn't control the football. Hands it back to Rayner, who snaps. It was touched by Ash. In the pocket it arrives to Gunston. He goes the big fend on coming. Sure, had plenty of time. That's what the home fans thought anyway. The umpire says let's throw it back in. Deep in the right forward pocket for the Brisbane Lions, who lead by 23 points here. 14-5 plays 10-6 late in this third quarter.
It's exciting to watch Brisbane. I must admit, every time the ball goes inside 50, it doesn't matter how many numbers there, you feel like something electric's going to happen.
And we're looking for Charlie Cameron here. He's got 6 goals to his name. Adam Kennedy, the sub, is matched up on him now. Ashcroft wins a contested ball. He's been excellent. The number 2 draft pick. Rich, and now McCluggage just pokes it over the top. Hipwood just stopped when he could have attacked the football. That allows the Giants to win it back. Whitfield, though, is tackled by Dunkley. Lucky to get rid of it. Now Cornelio at half-back. Wouldn't it be interesting if the Giants can kick another one? Doesn't have too many options, Cornelio. Puts it out in front of Cadman. The Lions want a deliberate call, but he was looking for Cadman, Cornelio. So we'll have a boundary throw in just outside half-forward for the Giants, who have pegged this margin back to 23 points with the last 4 goals of the game.
In front of the scoreboard, thrown back in. McInerney and Himmelberg laid down here towards Neal, who's collected by Perryman.
I must admit, when Himmelberg had to go back, and he's also rucking a little bit now, but when he had to go back, I thought it might impact the Giants' ability to score. But They're pushing higher their forwards now because they have one less key, and it's actually working for them.
Angwin to Kelly. Second gamer finds Whitfield. Dumped in a big tackle by McCarthy. Umpire lets them play. It's at half forward for the Giants. Rayner emerges away now. Good burst of pace. Knocks it to advantage. And now has to go again, but only finds Buckley this time. Spun the tackle. Buckley gets the hand pass off to Cumming, and the Giants can connect by foot. It's with Rouston on the outer side. That's 65 from goal.
Been lively, Harry Rouston spots Toby Green, who's had a very big third quarter to get GWS back into this game. He's 60 metres out on a tight angle. Kicked one from close to here to get the Giants up and going in this third term. Spots it up, looking for Cadman. Good leap from the youngster. It falls to Perryman. He has a snap on goal. It's just wide. That was a big opportunity for GWS. Through for a behind. Margin is 22 points. Not long to go until three-quarter time.
Preview Geelong Sydney up next. The last of our games on your Saturday. As Coleman finds Daniel Rich. The dying seconds of Q3. On that preferred left side, exits defensive 50. It's off hands from Gunston and Haynes, over for a throw-in. Momentum has swung in this game. It was as high as 41 points the Brisbane Lions leads. The Giants with 3 goals since that time. 31 gone here in this third quarter. Healthy crowd here in Canberra as well. McInerney wins it down under himself. Follows up with a kick, and it finds the boundary line for a throw-in right between the interchange gates.
Yeah, well, it's quite a response from the Giants, because we did say at half-time if they can hang in there for the quarter and give themselves a sniff going into the last, anything can happen. And even though it blew out to 41, it's back to 22, which is essentially almost where it was at halftime.
Big possession numbers from Kelly and Cornelio. 31 from Josh Kelly, 29 from Cornelio. And we'll have a ball up close to the logo on the wing. 22 points the margin. Time ticking down as we head towards three-quarter time. Can GWS get another one? They've won it here. It's Peatling who sends it forward just outside 50. Hogan had the leap and a couple of bites at it, just couldn't bring it down. Daniel Rich tumbles it to the wing. Well done, Himmelberg, to affect that contest. Lockie Ash is up against 3 Brisbane players, and now Lockie Neal is caught by Callan Ward and surely holding the ball. Yes, a chance for one more GWS attack perhaps. Oh, he's been gone against him, Callan Ward. Well, I can't understand that. And nor can the fans here in Canberra. The siren goes, and Callan Ward is right in the umpire's face. He says there's no way that was a high tackle, had to be holding the ball, and that would have set up one more attack for GWS on the three-quarter time siren.
He would have had a chance to kick it in, but I think he's really worked up Callan Ward too, and I mean, he doesn't do that very often. I think they're called a sling. But it was barely that. I think it's hot topic, isn't it? It's hot topic.
It was up in the face of umpire Matt Nichols, that's for sure. 22 points is the three-quarter time margin Brisbane's way. 14-5-89 plays 10-7-67. Charlie Cameron has an equal career best, 6 goals. Gunston has 2. Singles for Hitwood, Rayner, Bailey, Danaher, McCarthy and Ashcroft. Meanwhile, for the GWS Giants, Brent Daniels kicked his third. He has 3 along with Xavier O'Halloran, 2 for Toby Green, and singles to Cadman and Hogan as well. We'll be listening across ABC Radio, News Radio, Digital Radio, and of course the ABC Listen app. It's three-quarter time. This is Grandstand AFL.
ABC Listen. Rampaging Royce Laven and HG Nelson.
I note that some people don't use logbooks anymore.
What?
Yeah.
They don't know cos, sine,
cosine, cosine, cotan. They're all great.
Lodging on the blind side.
Why don't they do it?
I don't know.
Royal Commission. What happened to the logbook? I loved it. I used to open it up. Could we get Volandis to drag the logbook
kicking and screaming back into our universities?
Podcast available now on the ABC Listen app.
Grandstand AFL.
Now streaming every match on the ABC Listen app.
Look for the AFL button.
They go inside 50 through Zorko. Taylor and Danaher looking for it. It's work forward to Charlie Cameron. Handball over the top to Gunston. And that is a goal from 2 metres out. Rainer's having an excellent game. Gives it to McKenna, who kicks Brisbane deep into attack again. And there is Cameron. He's marked it in the pocket. 3 goals to his name. He'll snap this one from 15 metres. Left foot snap from Charlie Cameron. Sails through the middle.
He goes a set shot. The drop punt from the pocket. Toby Grew. That's absolutely superb. And that's his second. Charlie Cameron Makes good for 5. We took these country roads to Canberra.
Cameron on the snap. He's got 6. A big haul for Charlie Cameron.
High wobbly ball inside 50 for the Lions. Lucky him in the back of Danaher. Umpire says play on Bailey through traffic. Throws it on the boot. And it's through for a goal.
Green just snaps it just outside 50 for Cadman. Does well to tap it away from Harris Andrews, the youngster. But Andrews, with all his experience, wins it back. Brent Daniels, though, robs him of it. Snaps on goal and kicks one.
Turns up the angle here. Daniels. Oh, it was sunny in Canberra. But now it's stormy. He's got 3.
10 goals for the season for Jesse Hogan, looking for his first of the game. And that is another important one for GWS.
The 2023 AFL season.
On radio,
ABC Sport Digital.
and now streaming on the ABC Listen app.
The final change here in Manuka Oval in Canberra. The Brisbane Lions lead GWS by 22 points. Up next, we're off to the Cats and the Swans. A blockbuster at Kardinia Park called Middlemass. Tell us all about it.
Thanks, Brett. First game at Kardinia Park for the new season and an opportunity for Geelong to unveil the premiership flag, of course, from last year. So it is the grand final rematch, the first time at Kardinia Park for the Cats in the young season. They're 2-3. The Sydney Swans are 3-2. Both teams coming off the winners list last week. There is a late change. John Segler is out. So not only missing Reece Stanley, who's had surgery on that fractured eye socket, but now Segler also missing. He and his partner have just given birth to their first child, a little baby boy. So as a result, Segler is out of the Geelong team. Mitch Nevitt is the sub. Sam Simpson comes into the 22. It's the first time Simpson's played since the qualifying final of 2021, so missed all of last year and gets a start in round 6 for the Cats. Meanwhile, for Sydney, no late change. Will Gould is their sub. It's the Cats and the Swans. I'll be joined by Ben Cameron in commentary, Lauren Borden on the boundary, and the two Essendon number 9s, Brendan Goddard alongside Adam Ramanauskas in commentary this afternoon for the grand final rematch in what is a standalone Saturday night fixture down here at Kardinia Park, Brett.
Can't wait. Thank you, Corbin. We'll get you there when we can very shortly after things wrap up here at Manuka Oval. Just by the way, earlier Port beat West Coast by 40 points at Adelaide Oval. And elsewhere from the MRO, the incident involving Andrew Brayshaw out of last night's Len Hall game over in Perth, and the Bulldogs' Tom Liberatore was assessed from the fourth quarter of that game. The ball bounces out of a stoppage away from Freo's Michael Walters and Liberatore and towards Brayshaw as both Brayshaw and Liberatore approach the ball. Walters applies considerable pressure to Liberatore's back as Brayshaw lowers to contest the ball and high contact is made. It is the view of the MRO that it was reasonable for Brayshaw to contest the ball in the way that he did and that contact was caused by circumstances outside the control of Brayshaw, so no further action has been taken. So there you go, just with everything as far as MRO, and that's their findings out of that game last night. 22 points the margin here.
And a big story here, Sam Taylor, just limping away from the GWS huddle. He's been subbed out of the game. His hamstring is heavily strapped. He's the reigning best and fairest winner at GWS, the reigning All-Australian fullback. He's so important to this team. He's so great to watch. He's such a big competitor, of course, and he's just a fantastic young man. It's not the most severe injury, of course. He'll be back, you'd think, in a few weeks, but it's a big blow to GWS and their momentum as they try and maintain what they believe is a team capable of being a top 8 side.
Yeah, it's obviously a blow for tonight's game, but for the coming weeks, it's a big blow for them as well as they go into each game without Sam Taylor down there as their linchpin in defence. But, gee, what a terrific quarter by the Lions early, and well done by the Giants to peg their way back in. And here we are, pretty similar spot to where we were at three-quarter time.
That's the voice of Jason Saddington. Daniel Garb, I'm Brett Sprigg, back underway. And the final term. McInerney over the top here in the ruck tap. Down to his opposing ruck in Flynn, who follows up at ground level, and he has the arms pinned by the big O. And the up ball up again. Waste no time. The Giants with some momentum in that third term. They clear here. Daniels on the wing. O'Halloran shows good pace. Still going O'Halloran. Kicks back inside 50 here for GWS. Green couldn't take the one-hander. Rich shares it by a hand. Kick was fun this time coming from the boot of the sub in Lions. So their sub has been made, as was Kennedy, of course, for the Giants earlier. We'll keep an eye on who's come off the ground. Adam Shirley downstairs, down to you very shortly as Neil goes to clear. off half-back here for the Brisbane Lions. Big barrel from McInerney. It bounces inside forward 50 at the other end of the ground. On foot here, Danaher competes with Buckley. Big Joe sharks it to the pocket now, straightens up on the run from 35, but it's too far across the face for a minor score. And it's one behind only to the Brisbane Lions, 14-6, 90. The Giants had 10-7, 67. Brisbane leads here by 23.
And Charlie Cameron had the arms extended and said, "Look at me, Joe. Got 6 to my neighbour, wouldn't mind 7. I'm hot. Just spot it up to me rather than going for goal." But I understand him having a shot. Nick Haynes has it in the back pocket for the Giants, sends it long up the wing. Jesse Hogan will leap for this, gets to the front of the pack, guides it down to Kelly. Now O'Halloran is full of confidence at the moment with 3 goals to his name. Handballing work from the Giants eventually comes unstuck at centre half back. Whitfield tries to win it back, just taps it to Ward. Good pressure from Brisbane. Lockie Neal wins it. Kick over the top. Was Cameron held? He held Kennedy according to the umpire. Kennedy will have a kick from his defensive goal square.
That's a tough ask, Adam Kennedy, isn't it? Come on as a sub, go to Charlie Cameron. He did well there. It was a good one-on-one contest, and Cameron had to initiate the high contact because Kennedy's positioning was fantastic.
Comes way up the line here for the Giants to Whitfield. 23 points the Brisbane lead. Whitfield for his 17th touch. There's it wide, little too wide out of bounds on the full. So it's a Brisbane ball at left half forward. Danaher, centering ball, up goes Cameron and brings it to ground where it's locked in for a ball up, 40 out from the Lions goal now. 14-6 plays 10-7. The scoreline here at Manuka Oval in Canberra. Off to Kardinia Park next. Geelong v Sydney. And now Cornelio lays a tackle. The ball does come free before Buckley is wrapped up by the much smaller Lockie Neal. Ball up again.
Josh Kelly, 33 disposals to his name, early stage of the last quarter. Steve Cornelio has 30. Not sure he got a clean one there. Lockie Whitfield picked it up. Deep in defence are the Giants. They're messing around with it. Is Lockie Ashcourt. It's a turnover anyway. Brisbane have it just 10 metres out from their own goal. Here's Charlie Cameron looking for 7. Oh, yes. Why not, Charlie? He is having a game and a bit. 7 goals for Charlie Cameron, a massive haul. Just when everyone was fumbling with it in defensive 50, his class came to the fore, and the margin is 29 points.
You stole the words straight out of my mouth, Garvey. The class steps up because it was even Whitfield had the fumbles. Rain, I think, had the fumble. The ball was just bobbling about. Lockie Ash had the fumbles. And then Charlie Cameron says, "Oh, leave it to me, guys." And he just swooped on the footy, picked it up. And a wonderful snap and 7 goals. The influence he's had on this game of football has been huge.
Only 2 goals behind the leader of the Common, Jeremy Cameron, his namesake. It's crazy. You don't think when you come to the game, you think, well, he kicks 1 goal, he's 8 behind. And, well, he may yet get there. 7 goals, a career best for Charlie Cameron. Margin back out to 29 from the restart. It's a free kick paid here for a hold, and it will go the way of the Brisbane Lions. It's with Jared Lyons, who was the sub. Some news on that very shortly as he loads up down the corridor. Danaher wants the early sit out the back, though it's been marked by Hipwood. Very quickly down to you, Adam Shirley.
Yeah, it's Darrow Joyce that looks to be the sub who's moved out of the game with Jared Lyons now into the middle for the Brisbane Lions. A tactical sub, no apparent injury, it would seem.
Okay, thanks, Adam. We've got the jump on that because on our champion data screens there's been no I suppose under the new tactical rules I don't have to give you the red line through their name as far as I'm aware, but anyway, yes, that's the news from downstairs. No Darragh Joyce and Jared Lyons, who was responsible for that entry, which may yet result in the Eric Hipwood goal. He's on the runway here, 35 out directly in front with his preferred left boot. He lays into this, kicks it out of the park. Hipwood with his second. It's party time here for the Brisbane Lions, out to 35 points. That's it was a game high 41 in the third term, but they're back in control here, the Lions. 16-6, 102 to 10-7, 67. And we've played 6 minutes in this final term on Grandstand AFL.
Well, some poor kid's out the back of the grandstand there, chewing into his hot dog and then drinking his soft drink, and the ball's being kicked over the roof and it's knocked it out of his hand, so he's upset. But the free kick from the middle, Jared Lyon just got the ball in deep, straight down the middle, and there was a pack of 6 players, and it was almost like Skittles as they all went up and came down, and Hipwood was the only one standing. It just took the nice easy mark uncontested.
They can take this game away from you in an instant, these Brisbane Lions. Margin out to 35 points. They won here in Canberra last season against the Giants. They're on track to do it again. McInerney palms it down from the bounce. Toby Green's in the middle, trying to get GWS going. Kicks it to centre half forward. Coleman's been busy all game. Couldn't quite collect it cleanly. Peatling does to Angwin. Throws it on his right boot. It'll go to the top of the square. Cutting across was Green. Couldn't quite mark it. Handball back to Angwin. Now Hogan. And Kelly can have a shot on goal from just outside 50. It's smothered as he dwelled on it. Toby Green's marked it. I think that was touched on the boot, though. It was. And so Toby can't claim it. We'll have a ball up 15 metres out from the Giants attacking goal.
Interesting that centre bounce. Toby Green went back in as the instigator in the third quarter to get him back in the contest. They've looked to him again.
Ball up. Giants in attack. Toby Green. Hand pass chopped off here by Jared Lyon. Zorko tries to clear. Half and under it goes. Angwin won't control the grab here. Perriman's hand pass goes underground towards Ash. And now Canelio all the way back front edge of the square. Dumps it back inside 50 here for the Giants. Coleman with a spoil over the top of Perryman. And it goes out of bounds for a throw-in. 45 around from the Giants' goal, Cathedral end. Here in the nation's capital, 16-6 plays 10-7. The Brisbane Lions lead by 35 points. There's the red tape next to Dara Joyce's name. There you go. Great stuff, Adam Shirley.
Boundary throw in on the 50 paint. McInerney tries to palm it down. Good tackle from Brent Daniels to wrap up the line. We'll have a ball up. Kidding Coleman's been good, hasn't he? I mean, we're so used to his dash out of defence, but defensively he's been really smart.
Good balance. Good balance of football.
As Peatling tackles Ashcroft. Ball has moved not even a metre. We'll have another ball up. McInerney down to Neil. Handball looking for Lions. Zorko swoops on it, but chance for the Giants here to win this back in a dangerous position. Rouston falls on it.
No, I think the Lions' defence in a whole, the 6 or 7 that have been down there, have been rock solid and certainly beaten their opponents across the course of the game.
Glenn looks for Perryman, socket off the ground by Ashcroft. He clears danger. Charlie Cameron with 7 goals to his name, up against Kennedy. He kept his feet, Cameron, but couldn't pick it up cleanly. Gets it at the second attempt. Handball to Zorko. He's on the wing, looking for Rayner in the pocket. He's marked it on the lead. It bounced off his chest. He had so much time, though, he was able to gather it. And Cameron Rayner, who has 1 goal to his name, will kick from just outside 50. Lions doing as they please at the moment.
Yeah, when you've got a good lead, confidence is up and you just spread fast when your team wins the ball. And when you know you've got good ball users and smart footballers all over the park, it does give you that confidence to actually get on the move. And if you put yourself in a good spot, you know you're going to get hit. You don't second guess or doubt what your teammates are going to do. And that's the beauty of the Brisbane Lions, is they have such a good group of players, is they can play with confidence.
He's backing himself from 55 on an angle, Cam Rayner. Not sure it'll quite get the distance. Off hands and falls to Angwin. And a lot more space than he thought he might have. And he's able to run it out of defensive 50. Now Perryman is able to chip one over the top for Kennedy.
Kennedy the sub, has a bounce in open space. Now a second bounce, draws the player, Coleman. Works it wide here for Peatling. Dummies his way around Wilmot. Oh, he's run down by Wilmot when he gets the kick away. He goes inside forward 50. Hogan takes the overhead grab. 40 out, slightly right of centre. Back down to you, Adam Shirley. Very quickly, hang on. Jesse Hogan was going to play on. He'll go back and take the shot at the Cathedral end. Down to you, Adam.
Yeah, as Adam Kennedy offloaded that kick into the forward line, it's if the injuries aren't mounting up enough at the Giants' land. He's just grabbed at his knee. The physio's with him right of the boundary, but it looks as though he's clutching at his posterior cruciate ligament. Not quite sure whether that's the issue, but he's having trouble straightening it at this point. We'll keep on it.
Yeah, the back of his right knee. Thanks, Adam. Here's Hogan, meantime, with the set shot. Straight over the goal umpire's head for number 2. Well, time running out for the Giants. Not completely gone yet. 29 points is the Lions lead. 16-6 plays 11-7. Jesse Hogan has a couple. And we've played now 11 gone in this final term on Grandstand AFL.
A rare moment for Jesse Hogan to actually get free from Jackson Payne and take an uncontested mark overhead in the forward 50. He has battled away. I'll give him that, Jesse Hogan. He's had a tough night, and Payne was all over him in the first half. But he's battled away. He's kept presenting, and he's now got 2. You know, it's a fair response for him through this game and through this second half, and a nice finish for him to maybe keep some life in this game for the Giants.
Well, the round of applause you can hear is for Adam Kennedy, who limps up the race, an inaugural Giant. They do like him, the GWS fans, for all he gives to the club. That's not a great sight. He might be out for a few weeks with a knee injury, as Adam Shirley on the boundary told us. But the Giants win it in the middle after kicking that goal. It's with Toby Green. Now O'Halloran, a shot at goal. It won't quite get there. It's in the square. Marked by Himmelberg. One hand outstretched. Fantastic grab. And the Giants are going to kick 2 in a row because Himmelberg is directly in front, 2 metres out. This is where he's marked it. He'll kick from 5. There is no doubt about this. Excellent grab. And just for a moment, there might still be some life in this Giants run. 23 points now, the margin.
Amazingly, we're back to where we were at three-quarter time. It happened in the third quarter. It's happening in the last. That the Lions look like they're ready to kick away, and they're well on top, and they're ready to ice the game, and the Giants just don't give in. And it was that man again that lifted him in the third, Toby Green, that won the centre clearance and got the ball forward. Every time tonight that their backs have been against the wall, he has stood up like a captain should, and like we expect from Toby, to try and change the course of the game again back into the Giants' favour. And he's done it, and they're back in where we were at three-quarter time with still plenty to play in this game.
All the while, Sam Taylor subbed with a hamstring injury. Adam Kennedy, who was the sub who replaced him, is off with what looks like a PCL or some sort of knee injury. So 23 points is the Brisbane lead, but back-to-back goals now for the Giants. So early in this final term in Canberra. One down to Lions, of the Lions, and Green is all over him, but the umpire balled up.
It's definitely been a facet of the Giants game this year. They've been in every single game of footy they've played. They've competed hard and they've never given in. Their third quarters have let them down, and that's happened again tonight.
Himmelberg in the ruck, effective down here towards Callaghan. Kicks out in space. Angwin, the second gamer, has room to move as well on his left boot. High inside 50. Wilmot rises above with a spoil out into the pocket at the defensive end for Brisbane, and it's out of bounds here for a throw-in right alongside that left behind post. Deep in attack for the Giants, who trail by 23 but have some momentum here, Daniel Garb.
And there's a boundary throw-in deep in attack for them. If they can kick another quick one here, there is plenty of time for GWS. Hogan and Danaher goes over their heads. Hogan tries to palm it down to O'Halloran. He can't break the Jared Lyons tackle. He's the sub on for Brisbane. So a ball up inside 50 for GWS. Plenty of time left in this final term. Coleman and Hogan. Hogan gets hands to it. And Jared Berry can run away from defensive 50 with it for Brisbane. His kick, though, favours the GWS defenders. It sits up nicely for Nick Haynes. He can spot up a target at half forward, and that is Stephen Cornelio. He's going to have possession number 35. 70 out from goal. Giants going into attack again, trying to peg back this margin further.
A former skipper from just forward of halfway, called to play on now. Off a couple of steps, high inside forward 50. Strong defensive grab, Andrews, for the Brisbane Lions. And they'll start again from that part of the ground. Swings it across the goal mouth now for Gunston. Still inside defensive 50. Spears it further on here to McCluggage, and now we can exit. Oh, it's an untidy ball though. Whitfield wins it down for Angwin. Wrapped up tackle, get it away though towards Ash. Back to Angwin outside. Chops the handball back inboard now for Kelly. Going inside forward 50. Toby Green. It was a perfect entry from Josh Kelly. Well weighted, and Toby Green marks, plays on, opens up the angle right across the face, and he's just sneaked it through for a minor score. Oh dear, they needed that, didn't they? With the Giants skipper. 12-8-80 GWS. They trail the Brisbane Lions to a 16-6, 102. Margin 22 midway through this final term.
You can't knock Toby. Probably a rush of blood on that one, though. Just could have taken plenty of time to go back and really think his way through that shot on goal.
If he kicks that, it's 17 points, and there is plenty of time left in this final quarter. He didn't need to rush it. Zach Bailey in game 100 off a standing start, pumps Brisbane forward. Well done by Nick Haynes defensively, though, to spoil and then gather. Waxes with Buckley, and they send it up to Isaac Cumming on the wing. He's marked on the logo. Giants fans want 50 for encroaching the mark. Not paid, so Cumming switches to Josh Kelly. Possession 36 coming up for him. Short to Lockie Ash. Inside the middle of Manuka Oval. Handball to Whitfield, out wide to Haynes, who's had a lot of ball too. Looks for a lead of Cadman. Didn't quite attack it, the youngster, so Andrews was able to punch it away. Now McCluggage with the handball to Bailey. Ball in dispute at centre half back for the Lions. Dunkley's on it. So is Whitfield. We'll have a ball up. The GWS have got time and they've got the momentum at the moment. 22 points the margin in favour of Brisbane.
And the Lions have been pushing numbers back pretty quickly, just trying to clog it up a little bit for a while and take some of the heat out of this.
All up on the outer point of the square, in the lap of Danaher, wrapped up by Himmelberg. The umpire will do it again.
And that's why I've seen Haynes have some influence in the last few minutes. He's just been the spare back. They've evened up now, but he has been winning some easy ball because they're all pushed high.
Danaher out of the contest, just slams it on his boot. It bounces towards the eastern wing. Haynes out to Buckley. Nice teamwork from the Giants defence. Fires the hand pass out to Whitfield. Comes up the line with the boot. Kick to McCluggage. It's turned over as McCluggage got a shove as well out there from Perryman. So it's a free kick Brisbane from right half back on the eastern side. They lead by 22 points, 17 going final term.
They could use a settler here, Brisbane. With the way Nick Haynes is playing in defence, that won't happen. He takes the defensive mark, and the Giants can move into attack again because there'll be 50 against Eric Hipwood there. And so Nick Haynes will be marched up to about 70 metres out from the Giants' goal.
So they just need to be patient and smart with their ball use going inside 50 now. With the Lions getting those numbers back to try and clog it up, they just can't afford to blaze away and turn it over.
Clever from Haynes with possession number 23. Spots up Callan Ward, who marks and has a shot on goal from just outside 50 on the angle. It's over the head of Cadman, through for a behind. 21 points the margin, and GWS are throwing everything at Brisbane late.
Adam Shelley downstairs.
We lads, they're a touch harder at it at the moment, the Giants. In the last 4 or 5 minutes, Brisbane really need to put their head down in those clinches.
Connor McKenna kicks out here beyond defensive 50. Himmelberg couldn't control the mark. Knocks it in their half here, the Giants. Their attacking half. Ash skids that ball along the deck here. Zorko soccers out in space. To half forward now for Brisbane. Race on foot. Bailey gives a shove on Ash. Bailey can close from 50. On the run, it's across the face and bouncing through for a minor score off the boot of the 100-gamer. And it's 22 points. Back to that margin the Lions' way. 103 plays 81. 19 now gone in the final term. Still time yet for the Giants. They need 4 goals.
Charlie Cameron's had a rest, 7 goals to his name. He's back on the ground now as the Giants look for Himmelberg. Berry was at the front of the pack though for Brisbane. Ashcroft, with all his class, moves away from the pack, the youngster. He's going to be exciting to watch in the future. Giants win it back through Kelly. His handball missed the mark though. And now Berry with the handball over his shoulder looking for Lions. Well done by Haynes to win it back for the Giants. From centre half back they can launch forward. O'Halloran over the head of Peatling. Cadman's there though. Does well to gather at Cadman. Couldn't quite get clean connection on the handball. And now the Lions win it back in the middle of Manuka. Through Ashcroft. Throws it on the boot. Sends it deep and Cameron's marked it. He will kick for his 8th goal. He was free on his own inside 50 and the kick from Ashcroft just fell on his chest. It's that kind of night for Charlie.
It is, and the Giants looked like they were about to break forward and get it inside 50, but just Cadman couldn't quite take possession of the footy. Couple of fumbles and the Lions just pounced. And I think Charlie Cameron, who he came off the bench, and I think that's why he was free inside 50. When it's United, isn't it? That the ball just falls your way and chance to kick another.
He's going for an 8-goal evening, Charlie Cameron. He's just pulled it to the left. That would have definitely put to bed any hopes of a GWS win here tonight, but there still is a pulse for the Giants. There's time left, 23 points the margin in favour of Brisbane.
Yeah, quick from the kick out, Whitfield to Callahan in front of the Jack Thingleton scoreboard on the outer side. Up the outer side again. He shares it to Rouston. Well, their first round picks from last year, of course, they're both out there. Aaron Cadman as well. Across the half-back line. Ash. Hand pass to Cumming, and now Cornelio. Needs some play up ahead. Moves around Ashcroft. Kicks around the corner towards a 2-on-2. In from behind, Cadman at the drop. Lines for Brisbane. Tumbles it back towards that pack on the outer wing. At the drop, McCarthy. Uses it carefully by foot to Danaher, who slides in, back edge of the square. And he'll take some time off the clock here. Gives a little friendly shove on Nick Haynes as he gets up to take his kick. But Danaher just right smack bang on halfway. At Monica Oval. Loads up inside the arc. Leaping up there, Gunston at the drop. Charlie Cameron, careful. He runs out of space though. And will throw it back in. 35 around from the Brisbane Lions goal at the pool end. It's they who lead by 23 points. 16-8 plays 12-9. 22 gone here in the final term.
With Kennedy going off after his short little sit on Charlie Cameron, Jack Buckley's the one that's got him at the moment.
Joe Danaher gets to the front of Flynn, tries to palm it down, picked up by Haynes, who's been excellent in this last term, throws it on the boot. Perryman wins it now for GWS. He does the same. They work it up to the wing, and it's marked by Cadman, the youngster in his second game. He's got a raking left foot, and he finds Toby Green. It'll sit up for him. Tries to work his way away from Starcevic. Well done, Starcevic, to win that contest. Daniels, though, for the Giants, try to soccer it to a teammate. Lockie Neal was smart to intercept, gives it to Rich. They send it up the wing. The Lions, well done by Ashcroft to gather it. He's found some space, hound ball over the top. It's with Gunston. Plenty of composure from the veteran to sell some candy and then spot up Cameron on the lead. He just got rid of Iden easily, did Gunston. That allowed plenty of space for Charlie to lead up to it, and now he can have a shot at 8 again.
And that's a dangerous part around Charlie Cameron. I think Haynes ended up on him at that point because of a swap over in defence. And Haynes was so worried about Cameron getting the ball out the back. And Gunston was smart enough to just hold on and wait a little bit longer for Charlie to come up at the ball. And whilst Haynes is worrying him getting it over the back, he's turned his head. And Cameron's picked the opportune time to then come up at the footy and take a chest mark.
Cameron from 40 metres out on an angle. Ooh. It's the post looking for his 8th goal. A couple of behinds, sitting on a haul of 7. Charlie Cameron, Brisbane Lions, they lead by 24 points.
Geelong, Sydney coming up next. We'll do our best to get you there for the observance. The grand final rematch coming up at Ginya Park. Meanwhile here, Whitfield for the Giants to kick out. Buys some space in the right back pocket. Thumps it long beyond defensive 50. Payne in the contest with Himmelberg. At the drop, plenty of lines there. Rich kicks back towards the paint of 50. Too hot for McCarthy. Spun the tackle of Cornelio. Goes to ground now. The umpire watching carefully. Is he going to ping him? I think he's getting ready to, and says, no, let's ball it up. Right near the paint of 50 at left half forward for the Brisbane Lions, who lead here by 24 points. The margin of clean 4 goals. 23 gone, final term.
It looks like the Giants' hopes of turning this into a thriller late on have been extinguished, and staring down the barrel of 8 straight defeats in Canberra. It was an ordinary record for them here, considering the wonderful support they get, which has been on show again tonight. Brisbane, though, demonstrating their class as they make a tilt at the flag. Dunkley just outside 50 for the Lions, handballs it backwards looking for a teammate. Picked up by Peatling, who's also been busy in this last term. His kick, though, is off the legs of Zorko, and we'll have a boundary throw in just forward of the wing for Brisbane.
Back here in 2 weeks against the Dogs, the Giants, so back-to-back home games. In the meantime, in between that, the derby next week against the Sydney Swans, Saturday afternoon, so it won't get any easier for them.
Especially with Sam Taylor out injured, the other big story from tonight with a hamstring. Hopefully it's not too severe and it's only 2 to 3 weeks, but it's going to be very difficult for GWS to win those 2 games without their defensive star. Andrew throwing here just forward of the wing for Brisbane.
As quick as the Giants put some excitement back into this game, the Lions have done well to take the heat out of it, and I think we've gone a good 10-12 minutes where the Giants have struggled to score.
Down it comes. Perryman to Peatling. Oh, clear here through Cumming. Up the outer side. Big leap from Jesse Hogan. In the contest with Coleman. Plays on by hand quickly. Again, Peatling comes up the line, commentary side. Free kick to go the way of the Brisbane Lions.
Oh, Toby. Oh, Toby.
Starcevic has been felled here by, I'm assuming, Toby Green.
Well,
he's Garby.
Just given a little one, I think, to the midriff of Starcevic. Frustrated after giving away the free kick.
He's away 50 now as well.
I don't know how much force was in it, but there was definitely just a little gut punch on Starcevic, and that's why there's a 50-metre penalty. Starcevic is up, so perhaps there wasn't too much force, but that's that white line fever and the frustration of Toby Green coming to the fore again.
The Brisbane Lions go forward of halfway. Starcevic to Coleman. Speaking of Coleman, where's Charlie Cameron? He's a contender for one. Well and truly. 7 goals tonight. And numbers in defence, though, with the Giants, although it comes straight to Jared Lyons. He snaps. Kick was partly smothered. Sprawling for it now, Finn Callaghan to Angwin. He spills it now. Jared Lyons, good follow-up tackle. Comes to Gunston. Fires the hand pass. A little too much for Danaher, who was all by himself in the goal square, but he couldn't retrieve the ball. It was just coming at pace to him. Had to be a little dolly of a thing from Gunston, but he went just way too much force in the hand pass, and as a result, it's through for a minor score.
Well, I hope that's not a big story this week, because the Giants play Sydney next week, Brett Sprigg, as you said, and they do not want to be without Toby Green and Sam Taylor for that one. We'll wait and see if the match review officer deems it to be severe enough for a look. That Toby Green little punch on Starcevic in the midriff. Starcevic is up, he's got the ball in possession at the moment, so it couldn't have been too bad. He kicks the Lions deep into attack. They're going to win this game in Canberra through the hands of Rayner. Sock it away by Cumming. Falls to McGluggage. He's been really good. Can he snap on the left and put an exclamation mark on this Brisbane win? It just pulls to the right-hand side. And the margin is 25 points in favour of Brisbane. Time ticking down in the last quarter.
Well, I'm sure there's no time left now, but they just haven't been able to completely ice the game, the Lions, have they? About 4 or 5 behinds in a row.
Haynes kicks towards the western wing. Daniels handball chopped off by Cadine Coleman. Perryman back to Kelly, and now through traffic, Cornelio. Linked up well to Hogan. Off a step, goes high towards half forward. Green down there with Starcevic, tangling up again. This time Rich, though, does the crumbing. Shares it 1-2 with Harris Andrews, and now Coleman comes back to Daniel Rich at left half back here for the Brisbane Lions. They lead here by 26 points, 16-11 plays, 12-9. And Daniel Rich, the veteran, on that left boot, out to a pack on the western side. Charlie Cameron lurking, but Iden there first in an orange jumper. Kelly tumbles a high ball back to the wing. Zorko puts the Lions back inside 50. Charlie Cameron couldn't mark. Handball chopped off. Pressure came from Buckley. Cameron tries again here for the Brisbane Lions. Now Cam Rayner back to Zorko. 55 out. Couldn't quite finish. Pulled the kick short looking for McKenna. It was chopped off by Whitfield. Now they slide in from all angles. Gunston competes with Callaghan. Ball comes loose. Bailey back to McCluggage, and now back to the Irishman McKenna, who can finish from 35. Hits the post. Everything but the finish from the former Bomber. And it's out to a 27-point lead now the Brisbane Lions way.
It's been crying out for that icing on the cake kind of goal. The game's won anyway, but had a few shots at goal in the last few minutes. Charlie Cameron's looking for his 8th. He's hit the post. McKenna did a moment ago. The time ticking down. The Giants have it on the wing through Rouston. Kick into attack. Toby's looking for it. Spoiled away from him by Payne, who's been brilliant. Well roved by Himmelberg. Keeps his feet and looks for Daniels in the pocket and finds him. So Brent Daniels will have a snap on goal and kick another one. He's got 4. A shining light for GWS in a game they will lose. Margin back to 21 points, but Brent Daniels has 4 majors to his name.
It's a game for the smaller forwards. Obviously, we've had Charlie Cameron at one end kicking 7, Brent Daniels 4 for the Giants at this end. He's been a very good player for them. We did talk about it during the game, that his form has been very good this year, and it's great to have him back in the side after he missed last week. He's had a terrific game. He's worked super hard, and he's deserved that 4th goal tonight. Halloran was probably the other smallish, mid-sized forward that's kicked 3. And the key forwards probably just haven't got going, although Hogan has worked himself into the game.
21 points is Brisbane's lead here. Just seconds left in this game. We'll take it to Kardinia Park for Geelong and Sydney. Hopefully get most, if not all, the Anzac observance there with Paul Middlemass and the commentary team. And of course the opening bounce there just moments away as well in that grand final rematch. Clearance goes the way of the Brisbane Lions through Lockie Neal. High ball inside forward 50. Unkind bounce for Haynes, although Raynard overcommitted, so Haynes tries to follow up at ground level as well. O'Halloran fires the hand pass looking for Cornelio. They're competing for it again on that flank for the Brisbane Lions. Kelly dives in hard. Gets it away here, but the Brisbane Lions prevail. The Giants challenge them at times tonight. But in the end, the Brisbane Lions salute for their 4th win of the season, 2023. They affirm their place in the 8 and win here by 21 points. 16-12, 108 to 13-9, 87. It was thanks to Charlie Cameron's career best 7 goals. I'll give you also the goal kickers Gunston, Hipwood, each with 2. Singles for Bailey, Danaher, Rayner and Ashcroft, as well as McCarthy. Meanwhile, for the Giants, it was Daniels with 4, O'Halloran with 3, and a couple each to Toby Green, Jesse Hogan, and singles for Himmelberg and Aaron Cadman. Let's get to Kardinia Park for Geelong and Sydney. For most of you leaving us on the Grandstand AFL network, and Corbin Middlemass heads up that commentary team there. In the meantime, we carry on for the rest of you listening through Queensland News Radio, and with you for the next 10 minutes or so. The Lions here, winners by 21 points. Here's the song.
We will always fight for victory, like Fitzroy and Bears of old. One for one and one for all. We will answer to the call. Go Lions, Brisbane Lions, we'll kick the winning score. You'll hear our mighty roar. You'll hear our mighty roar.
The Brisbane Lions led by 19 points at quarter time, by 19 at the half, and 22 points at the final change in the end. They're out by as much as 41 in the third term, but 21-point winners, which in front of, 10,461, the crowd here in Canberra. And the news will be around Sam Taylor and the fact he was subbed out with a hamstring injury in the third quarter. And that is unfortunate for the Giants, who also then lost their sub Adam Kennedy due to a knee complaint sometime in the fourth. But that's the story here as far as tonight is concerned. And as I mentioned, Charlie Cameron's career best, 7 goals, 2. He had opportunities, didn't he, Jason Saddington, to get the 8th and the 9th goal and go level in the Coleman, where Jeremy Cameron, of course, is playing tonight. But in the end, he was just phenomenal. And the Brisbane Lions did just enough to hold off the Giants to win by 21 points.
And the Lions looked absolutely dominant at times, didn't they? The class of player that they've just got across the field, and when they go inside forward 50, just with the quality of players that got up there as well. And when you got Charlie Cameron lurking around, he just always looks dangerous. And they had the ability to really put the Giants away and blow the game open numerous times. And I think that's the exciting part about the Lions, is they do look like they can really dominate opponents and dominate teams and really smash the opposition. And they did that at times tonight, but they never were able to quite put the Giants away, who were spirited and kept coming and kept trying. And although they never really truly challenged, I think barely got within 20 points throughout the game, they kept it alive and they kept fighting for it. But the Lions, they've got a really good team of footballers who know their roles well. They're strong in the back line. I thought Payne was brilliant tonight, certainly in that first half. Andrews is rock solid down there as a leader. Daniel Rich across half back. He had a terrific game. He just uses the ball so well, and he uses his footy smarts as a veteran to read the game well. Keaton Coleman gives them the dash. You know, their back 6 and 7 are rock solid back. Dangerous, good defensive. Backline, their midfield goes very, very deep. They've got a lot of ball winners, and they don't rely on any 1 or 2 players to dominate the game for them. And that was the same tonight. You know, they didn't have a standout midfielder at all, the Lions, but they all did their job super well. And then that forward half, like I spoke about, they're just so many dangerous options down there. Danaher, I thought, was really good, and his ability to chop out in the ruck, I think he's terrific when he goes in there as well. Charlie Cameron, obviously. Rayner, I thought, was very dangerous at times, strong overhead and on the ground. The Brisbane Lions just have a very good football team, and I think they're going to go a long way this year. But to the Giants' credit as well on their side, disappointing injuries tonight to Taylor and Kennedy, but they kept at it. Toby Green kept fighting, and Jesse Hogan kept fighting, and I think they hung in there. They'll be disappointed with the loss, but they are showing that spirit to keep going, keep attacking, keep trying to be in a game of footy.
Both teams make their way off. We'll get the song in the Lions rooms with Adam Shirley.
Yeah, it's a happy bunch here, about to join in for the song here, the Brisbane Lions, just getting together. And as you mentioned, Charlie Cameron last to come in after his career best 7 goals, so let's hear the team song.
By 21 points here at Manuka Oval in Canberra, and for the time being that puts Chris Fagan's men up into 4th. I mentioned the Port one earlier. They went to 4th after they went over West Coast, and they've been usurped by the Brisbane Lions. Of course, the Sydney Swans can also get there in their game tonight against Geelong if they can prevail against the reigning premiers in that grand final rematch happening in about 30 seconds' time. You can catch all that, of course, on the ABC Listen app for those that aren't going on to that game, and that includes you listeners through Queensland News Radio. Let's get back to Adam Shirley.
Yeah, Dane Zorko with us, senior Brisbane Lions player. Obviously seen a lot come and go through the course of this team's evolution to where you're perennial contenders. Those Giants kept coming at you tonight despite a couple of injuries. How highly did you rate their pressure and their intensity, especially around the contest?
Yeah, well, I mean, throughout all their games they've played this season, they've hung in the fight. They give themselves an opportunity, and we knew it was going to be like that tonight. Not once did we ever feel, like we had a stranglehold on the game. They kept their system up, and it troubled us, there's no doubt about that. But I thought the resilience and the maturity of the group late, just to cover off a few exit areas that they obviously like to go through, and then control the ball ourselves to make sure that that margin stayed what it did. But I thought the boys prepared really well this week off a double travel. They're obviously coming off 3 travels, which we were all aware of, so we knew we had to just keep pounding the rock and keep fighting, and tonight we did that.
As you say, you were prepared for the heat they brought to the contest. Steve Coniglio, I guess Josh Kelly, the senior players, 30-plus possessions. Seems like they shaded at times in the midfield, and yet your back half through to that midfield seemed to really springboard for some of your attacking forays. How hard has the team worked at that quick transition and springing into your forward line? Yeah,
we've obviously struggled in that area for a number of years, and we put a lot of work into that in the pre-season about trying to get that ball in our forward half as quickly as possible. And I thought tonight, this afternoon, Jack Payne's game was unbelievable. Harris Andrews in the last quarter was enormous. Brandon Starcevic's role on Toby Green to just keep him to 1 or 2 goals, however many he kicked. I thought they were really pivotal to us winning the contest tonight. So them as a defensive group worked really hard. They're a really close-knit group, and tonight they really stood up for us.
Yeah, I wanted to highlight Jackson Payne. The lads in the commentary at ABC Sport really noticed the number of intercept possessions, the strong marks, and also the way he was able to distribute the ball. When you see, I guess, a group player, a role player like that evolve in the way that he has, how much hope does it give you for how the rest of the year is going to go?
Yeah, absolutely. I think with all of us as players every week, we're getting more continuity and comfortable in our positions and our roles for the team, and he was a prime example of that today. He was unbelievable, and we love the ball in his hands, and tonight we saw what he can do with it.
One other fella you love the ball in the hands of is Charlie Cameron. I think career best 7 goals tonight.
Unbelievable.
I mean, how much do you enjoy not just watching what he can do, but also his acts off the ball, which sometimes people won't see in the grandstands?
I mean, a lot of that's built off his pressure. I mean, he works so hard back and gives himself the 50 to then work his magic, and tonight he probably could have kicked 9. I thought he left a couple out there late, but I thought he, in that first quarter, got us off to a flyer, and he sort of kept us in it in that second quarter when the GWS Giants were really coming hard. So he had a fantastic game. He's been building towards that. He's training really hard, and tonight he got the rewards.
So where do you think this leaves the team in setting up for hopefully another tilt deep into September?
Yeah, every week we're looking to improve on our game. I don't think we've played a really strong four-quarter performance yet. We've had quarters where we've, it's looked great for us, but there's certainly cracks in there that we need to keep cleaning up, and it's a very long season, and we just got to keep building towards what our best looks like, and we saw glimpses of it again tonight. We saw glimpses of it last week, and we'll continue to work on it.
Dane, been generous with your time. Thanks very much for it, and all the best for maybe a bit of a rest after a couple of these difficult travel weeks you've had.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thanks,
Cheers,
Dane.
Right on, mate.
Dane's all covered. Adam Shirley downstairs. The Lions are at home against Freo next week. Saddle at the Gabba, so that's their next assignment. The Giants, we mentioned, have got the Swans in the Derby at the SCG, also Saturday afternoon, and then back here against the Western Bulldogs. Jason Saddington, who gets your 3-2-1 ABC Footballer of the Year votes?
Yeah, well, we'll get to the three, obviously, and that's a clear cut. But the other votes, it's actually not the easiest game to give the votes. I thought there was some strong performers for both teams. I mean, Josh Kelly's had 41. He's not going to get a vote for me, which is pretty rare for a player to get that much footy. But I don't think he had a lot of influence with his boys. I'm going to give one to vote to Canelio, though. I thought out of the Giants players to get 38 possessions, 8 tackles, 8 clearances, score involvements. I thought he was the Giants' most influential player. So Canelio, 1 vote, and a heap of footy. For the Lions, 2 votes. Jackson Payne, I thought we spoke about him throughout the call. His influence certainly in that first half was huge. He won every contest. He was well and truly on top against Jesse Hogan. I thought he had a terrific game. And the 3 votes, of course, is Charlie Cameron. His influence on that game of footy, clear cut, was a massive difference in that game of football. And finished with 7, could have had 9 or 10. And he's brilliant to watch, isn't he?
So he's kicked 6, 4 and 7 in consecutive weeks, which is just extraordinary.
It is too, because he's not a key position player. He's not at all, and he's going to get free and get speed. And the team, Oppo know how he's going to play, but you still can't stop him.
Thanks, mate. See you next time.
Thanks, Briggy.
Jason Saddington with us on Grandstand AFL. As always, 1 to Canelio, 2 to Payne, and 3 to Cameron in his ABC Footballer of the Year votes. Thanks to Daniel Garb. Thanks to our tech, Mark Baldy Jennings here at Manuka Oval, and to Adam Jonesy Jones back in the studio as well. Thanks to you for your company, most importantly, as the Brisbane Lions have beaten the GWS Giants by 21 points here at Manuka Oval. Find us again on the ABC Listen Out. Just look for the ABC AFL button. That's where you'll find every game of this season streamed live here on Grandstand AFL.